I want to make a point here tonight. Tonight's lesson is about the fact that the most dangerous thing in the world for a man to have close to him is a woman who has stopped competing. That is the most dangerous thing in the world. Because when a man has an uncompetitive person right next to him, right in his bed, it doesn't get better. It only gets worse. I put up a post on my Facebook page here a few days ago, or a couple of days ago, where I simply had made the statement that if you're a man who owns a hotel and your woman doesn't work harder than your housekeepers do, it's time to get a new woman. She hadn't made the cut. And on tonight's program, what I'm going to be discussing about is what happens when you get cut from the team. So I want you to pay attention to this because I get a lot of questions from a lot of young females who ask me, Jason, how do you get a producer? How do you stay in there? But I got to tell you here, folks, ladies, let me just make this very clear. And tonight's program is going to be, we're going to take it slow here because I want to be empathetic, if not sympathetic. That ladies, how many of you can say that you are genuinely competitive? That when you got out of bed this morning, you were looking at the scale, you were looking at the treadmill, but more importantly, you were looking at other women. And you were saying to yourself that today's the day, this is going to be yet another day where I set myself apart. Just a real basic question right now. How many of the ladies listening to me right now, how many of you can say that? How many of you can say that when you got up this morning and you looked in the mirror, you saw a competitor? You saw a woman who was making moves. You saw a woman who was outclassing her competition. You saw a woman that people just looking at you, they understood that's what you were, that you were competitive. Now, here's the issue. The issue is a bunch of the ladies are going to say, why, yeah, that's me. Real easy for you to say in a chat room. But let me just tell you something. Jason Black came here tonight to put his money where his mouth is. Jason Black came here tonight to put his money where his mouth is. So if you say that you that chick, just understand something. If you're that competitive chick, then you shouldn't have any problem showing us what you're working with. That should be very easy to see. You shouldn't have a problem with that. If you're going to say that you are competitive and you're outclassing the chicks you know, and you look in the mirror and say, oh, I'm outperforming them. Well, I'm very glad to hear that because you shouldn't have any problem showing and proving that tonight, right? Let's just keep it real, ladies. The overwhelming majority of you are not competitive. You're looking to get off the field. You're looking for somebody to give you a pass. You're looking for someone to take you directly from the third string to an office job. You're looking for folks to take you from third string to an office job. You're looking for somebody to help you bypass that. That's the problem. You're looking for someone to help you bypass where you're supposed to be. You're looking for someone to show you the easy route. And what I'm telling you is that, ladies, that fantasy that you're going to have to stop putting in the work and that fantasy that you're going to have to stop showing up early and going home late, just understand that might make you feel good in the interim, but no, you are uncompetitive. You are uncompetitive. That's what tonight's program is going to be about here. I want to put this in its proper perspective. That's why you have the slideshow that's showing up on your screen here right now. But what I want to do here is I want to go ahead and turn that off, and I want to show you exactly what that looks like here. It's probably going to hurt a few folks' feelings, and I understand that. I get that. I get it. But for you to learn something here, Exhibit A of being cut from the team. This is the all-time poster child. Exhibit A. Vivica Fox. Vivica Fox at one time was damn competitive. But I want you all to be very, very clear on something here. When I talk about a woman being competitive, that is not something that is necessarily anchored to her age. So anybody who wants to sit up here and say, well, it's been 20 years since she took that picture with 50 Cent. Take a look at the picture of 50 Cent today. Take a look at the picture of Vivica today. One of them looks like they are still competing. One of them looks like they're only a few years removed from 2003. The other one looks like they are many moons removed from 2003. Competitiveness. Being competitive. Vivica Fox went from being a chick that every woman wanted to be like to all of a sudden, next thing you know, she's whining. Whining all the time. Everything is a damn whining. And the overwhelming majority of her whining are about the choices that she herself made. You see, when you become uncompetitive, you start looking for folk to give you things. See, that's the difference between females in their 20s versus females in their 40s and 50s. Ladies, can I just be honest? Once y'all reach a certain point, it just becomes nonstop whining. It becomes nonstop complaining about how things aren't fair. It becomes nonstop gimme, gimme, gimme. Young females don't really talk like that. Young females are in the game. Young females are in the game to play. Young females are trying to be MVPs. Tonight's program is super calibrated to hurt a lot of feelings and bruise a lot of egos, but I'm not going to back off of it. Bunch of you here, when you got young females don't complain like that. They complain about other things. They don't complain the way the older ones do. Because you see, the younger ones are still competitive. The younger ones are still trying to edge out their competition. The younger ones, we call them catty. You can call that cattiness, but I want to say something tonight that you may not like, but it is true. Cattiness is a good thing. Cattiness is a good thing. Oh, you folks are going to hate it that I said that, but it's true. Cattiness is a good thing. When females are catty, that's a sign of competitiveness. Oh, you didn't understand that? Yeah, I said it. That is a sign of being competitive. Now, you can call it cutthroat. You can call it down and dirty. You can call it whatever you want to, but I'm saying looking at the raw facts, looking at the raw information. Folks, cattiness is a sign of competitiveness. Uncompetitive females are sitting in their rocking chairs. Uncompetitive females are sitting at the daycare. Uncompetitive females are sitting at the buffet. I didn't say gossiping. I said catty. Females who are catty are still competitive. So there's a reason why men tend to like females when you don't have to like it if you want. Me saying this, but it's very, very true. Certain females who do engage in a certain level of drama they're being catty. Cattiness is female competitiveness. If you understand that. I'm updating your files for you here tonight because some of you have been miseducated over the years. Some of you have been misinformed over the years. Some of you have been told that something else was true and it actually wasn't. Give me a chance here tonight to do like Darth Vader.
Join me and I will complete your training.
It's time to update your files. Find me a female who is in her 20s and not catty, and I will show you a female who is not competitive. Now, some of you will sit up here and say, well, I don't want to engage in drama like that because you think you're being the little intelligent chicks. Let me tell you something right now. Rick Ross said something. Rick Ross, the rapper Rick Ross, not the drug dealer. Rick Ross said that he will take drive over talent every day of the year. The rapper Rick Ross said that he'll take drive over talent every day of the year. So because you got a whole bunch of folks out there who are talented, but they're undriven. They've got no drive. They waiting for somebody else to pick them up, hand it to them, drag them, kicking and screaming to their destiny. He'd rather have somebody who is driven. Because a person with drive will find talent. A person with talent may not ever find drive. Did you get that? A person with drive may never find the talent. So with a female, you recognize what makes females competitive. Cattiness isn't something you bring to a man, but cattiness is something that happens between females. That's being competitive. That's how females knock off their competition. A man is likely to overlook a female who sits up and tells herself that she's got all this talent. He'll go grab a chick who's got some cattiness to her because he knows she's going to fight and scrap and claw and scrape. And he knows he needs that, especially if he's a go-getter out here in this world trying to make things happen. We got a bunch of young females out here trying to get into the damn retirement home. That Instagram got y'all all the way messed up today. It's got you all the way messed up. Let me go ahead and take a few moments here to illuminate you on these things a little bit more. Let me go ahead and show you, illuminate that for you a little bit more. This is one of my favorites. You take a look at Foxy Brown. You take a look at her from 20 years ago. You take a look at that look on her face. That is the look of a competitor. You know why? Because she was with Jay-Z and Jay-Z was like, man, I'm on the come up and I ain't stopping for ground. That's what the face of a female competitor looks like. That's the face of a woman who's in the middle of the game. That's the face of a woman. If you watch that video, I'll Be, you take a look at the way she was dancing and everything else. She was trying to get it. She was trying to go all the way. She's trying to be MVP. She's trying to be world champion. But you know why that is? Because take a look at what's standing behind her. Ain't nothing but fighters here. Ain't nothing but big cats and lions here. Ain't nothing but that. When she was in the middle of a bunch of competitive men, she looked the part. That's what I'm trying to tell you. The worst thing in the world for a woman to do is get herself around a bunch of uncompetitive men or one uncompetitive man. When you are around a competitive man, it shows in everything you do. It shows up in everything that you do. It appears in every word you say. It shows itself in every facet of your life. And when you don't have that competitive man with you anymore, the look in your eyes changes. You start looking meek. You start looking dour. Let me try saying this a different way. You start looking defeated. You start putting on pounds. Makeup all raggedy. You start wearing outfits intended to tuck you in. You're not competitive. You've lost that. Take a look at the chick that Jay-Z is with today. Beyonce has never stopped competing. Did you get that? Take a look at where Jay-Z been, including Blue Trail, allegedly. You take a look at the list of females that he left, and you take a look at the one he kept. Competitor. Never put her sword down. Never put her shield down. Never got off the field. Still throwing blows and still hacking hoes' heads off to this day. Beyonce has been on the field now for 20 years and ain't trying to leave. And it's not financial. She don't need the money. Beyonce hasn't needed the money since 2007. But she is still out here demonstrating what the characteristics were that made Jay-Z gravitate to her. Take a look at the work. Take a look at the work. To the ladies in the chat room earlier tonight at the beginning, we're talking about, I'm competitive. Oh, really? Because when I put you next to some real competitive women, I don't know, you kind of disappear. I don't know, but we'll get to that. We'll get around to that. I'm bringing you this because I want to put it in stark contrast for you. I've never known what the hell niggas saw in this woman. I really have never known it. I don't get it to this day. I don't know what dudes liked about Lisa Ray. Just whatever it is that made Lisa Ray hot from Players Club, I didn't see it then. I don't see it now. I didn't say she's ugly. I didn't say she's unattractive. But that fireworks factor that all these dudes have, that fireworks factor, I've just never seen it. She just never set off fireworks for me. Oh, you can do a hell of a whole lot worse. Don't get me wrong. You can do a hell of a whole lot worse than Lisa Ray. But that fireworks factor, I'm like, y'all seeing something I'm not seeing. Y'all are seeing something I'm not seeing. I'm not seeing it. But I will tell you one thing. Lisa Ray, y'all, as we going on 30 years ago, Lisa Ray 25 years ago was competitive. She was ultra competitive. She's one of the a black Hollywood actress who was married to a prime minister. Where the hell they do that? We had to wait till Meghan Markle, and she barely qualifies as black-ish. Lisa Ray was a gladiator. Lisa Ray was a gladiator. She wasn't just a competitor. She was a gladiator. And then the light skin privilege went to a damn head. And the rest is history. The end. She's been floating around ever damn since. Let me tell you something. She's been floating around ever since, and there's some lessons that I think need to be learned here tonight. There's some lessons. So what I'd like to do is start with question number 1. For all you ladies who found yourselves cut from the team, or prospectively cut from the team, we're going to start with a simple litmus test here tonight, and these questions will let you know. First of all, ask yourselves, who's your competition? For the ladies who were saying here earlier in the program that you're beating out your competition, I'm very glad to hear that, because my question for you is exactly who is your competition? For you ladies who are getting up and talking about you get up in the morning, you look in the mirror and you're beating out your competition, I would like to know, great, that's wonderful, that's fine. Who is your competition? Who is your competition? Because you were telling us that you're beating out your competition. I'd like to know, great, who is your competition? How many of the ladies listening to me right now, you know who your competition is, and furthermore, that they're actually competition. There's somebody worth beating. There's somebody worth competing against. How many of you chicks who claim you're competitive, I need to see who your competition is. If your competition is yourself, you are already a loser. If you sit up here and say these psychobabble phrases given to you by Oprah Winfrey, ladies, I want to ask a question here. Fellas, how many of the fellas in this chat room, if you were unemployed and your woman said, you need to get out there and compete, and you told her, my competition is myself, how many of these females talking about their competition to themselves, how many of them do you think would accept that from you? If you think they would accept it, give me the thumbs up emoji in the chat room. But if you know they full of garbage, give me the fire emoji in the chat room and hit the likes button for me. It's over 2,000 people in here watching live right now. It's over 2,000 people watching live right now. If you think these women would accept you telling her, I ain't got to get a job, I'm my own competition, give me the thumbs up emoji. But if you know they lying, hit the fire emoji and hit the likes button. Let's get something straight here right now. Let's get something straight. Some of y'all have been listening to folks selling psychotropic drugs for so damn long. You're your own competition. Baby, you can't put points up on the board against yourself. You see, this is what defeated hoes say on Instagram. You know the middle-aged overweight chicks when they start saying things like that. Why don't you just say the truth, Lisa and the others? Just tell the truth. Just say, hey, look, I'm defeated, I'm beat. Just say that instead. Don't sit up here with this, I'm my own competition. Because as soon as I said, oh, good, the men sitting next to you need to say the same thing. Wait, now, no. The men now, you got to compete against the other men's. Yeah, you didn't like it when I said, by the way, I'm going to sit you next to this dude over here, Pookie, Ray, Mike, Lil Slug. I'm going to sit you next to them, and his competition is himself, too. All of a sudden, you don't like that. No, the reason why you say that you are, quote, looking at yourself is only once you take a look at other people. And if you don't measure up to your competition, then you got to look inward and find out why, what is it in you that is failing? You got to look in you and see what inside of you is failing. When you say, I'm my competition, here's the problem, baby. What if you're a loser? While you talking about, I'm my own competition. But what if you're a loser? Then what? That's the question you all don't ask. Because it's too painful. And it's too difficult. And you don't want to hear that. What if you're a loser? What if everyone around you are, what if your circle of friends are all losers? Then what? What if you're uncompetitive? I only compete against myself. What? Okay, but what if you're not on the field? Where's the competition? Just tell the truth and just say, hey, look, I gave up. I'm defeated. I'm just defeated. That's it. Somebody come along and save me because I'm defeated. Why don't you just tell the truth like it is? Just tell the truth like it is. And just say that. Folks are not liking tonight's program here. I'm offending a lot of things. The ladies are not liking the program here tonight. They love it when I beat up on the men. They love it when I do that. But tonight's program, I got to tell some harsh truths. They're not liking it. So I'll go ahead and wrap it up here in a little bit. But denying reality is not going to change it for you, ladies. Denying it's not going to change it for you. I'm so glad we're having an honest conversation here tonight so we can discuss, by the way, who's your competition? What's the first thing you heard chicks in here say? Brain screwed psychobabble. I'm my own competition. I'm my own. And the only way that would make sense is if you were already out competing everyone else around you. Otherwise, you're useless. Next rule I want you all to go ahead and get through your heads here. Next question you need to ask yourselves, ladies, about getting cut from the team. What does getting cut from the team look like? First and foremost, a man wants to know who the hell is your competition. If you have a competitive man, he wants to know that you're beating out your competition, because the only way that you were able to get next to him was that you demonstrated an acumen or an ability to beat out the competition. That man wants to remain sharp. That man wants to remain competitive. That man wants to remain conquering kingdoms and climbing mountains. If you ain't built for it anymore, you gotta go. So the first question is, who is your competition? If your competition are the young, sporty females and you still fighting to keep your slot, we'll see. We'll see if you can do it. The next question is, are you still moving at the top of your game? Oh, no, this one's gonna hurt a lot of you. Ladies, there's a reason why I'm showing this roll of people right here. There's a reason why I'm showing that. This is gonna hurt feelings tonight. Those of you who sit up here and kiss ass on Oprah Winfrey, and you go to Kendra G so she can sit up here and coddle you and lie to you. You're not going to like it when I say this, but let me just go ahead and drop these heavy vibes on you here. You need to take a look at yourself 10 years ago, and you say your competition is yourself. Take a look at yourself 10 years ago, Mrs. All the ladies in the chat room. Take a look at yourselves 10 years ago. Are you still competitive against that female? Oh, I'm hurting your feelings. Take a look at yourself in the mirror 20 years ago. Are you still competitive against that woman? Are you still competitive? I'm competing against myself. Great, I'll take that. Are you still competitive against the woman you were 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 5 years ago? Would people take a look at you and see, oh, you are clearly still in the game. You are clearly still in competition. I'm glad to hear that, Lisa. I can't wait to open up the Zoom so I can get you on, baby. So, Miss Honeycutt, I'm so glad to hear that. I can't wait to open up the Zoom so we can get you on. So my mods will be looking for that there. Lisa is ready to shine. Lisa is ready to shine. Glad to hear that. Understand something here. Fellas, I want you to know what the standards are when the chick tells you that she's competitive with herself. Yeah, boy, I'm telling you, they get real quiet when you say that. As soon as you say that, it's like, oh, they start backing off. Then it's, ooh, wait a minute now. Hold on a second now. Wait a minute now. I don't know about that. Ladies, the central question I'm asking you here right now is whether or not you're still competitive against that woman that you were. Are you still moving at the top of your game? You see, you got to understand, this is the great tragedy of Vivica Fox. The great tragedy of Vivica Fox was she fell off right after 50 Cent. We know that Vivica peaked with 50 because she ain't been nowhere near it since. We know that Kim Kardashian peaked with Kanye. She hasn't been nowhere near that since. You know that Foxy Brown peaked with Jay-Z. She ain't been nowhere near that since. You know Lisa Ray peaked with Michael Mickens, whatever his name is, from Turks and Caicos, because she ain't been nowhere near that since. She's never been back. There's never been another man who was even remotely near that caliber. There's a reason why in these Hollywood sets and whatnot, let me just go ahead and say this to y'all plainly. There's a reason why in the Hollywood sets, they keep tabs on what kind of car you drive, what kind of home you live in, what kind of clothes you wearing. Yeah, because this is how we keep score. This is how we cut through the bull crap and whether we determine whether or not you're a liar or whether or not you're the real damn thing. And if we notice that you fell off, if we start seeing the signs that you're heading in the wrong direction, folks gonna start taking a look at that. Let me explain something to you all about the stock market. Let me explain something to you about the stock market and how valuations of stocks in companies work. I'm going to make this real simple for you all. The Ford Motor Company, this just happened with the Ford Motor Company with their latest earnings report. And They had said that they were going to make several $billion, and they actually made more than they had projected they were going to make. So Wall Street was really up on them at first. Ford projected they had made more money in the previous quarter than they had projected they were going to make. Everybody was cool. Everybody was happy. Then they asked Ford, so what is your projection for next quarter? And Ford told them the same amount of money. I want to say it was around 5 or 6 billion, but it was the same amount of money. So in Wall Street terms, what we're saying is, okay, wait a minute. Last quarter, you made $6 billion. And you projected next quarter, you're going to make $6 billion. Yeah. So what you're telling us is that earnings are not going to continue going up, that you've basically leveled off. Well, that's usually the first sign that earnings are about to start going down. Next thing you know, folks started selling their stocks. But you see, the dumb people wait until the stock starts going down before they sell their stocks. The smart people take a look for signs and indicators that project going forward what this stock is going to do. You don't deal based on what the stock is doing. You deal based on what the stock is going to do. That's how you prevent yourself from being left holding the bag. Now, could it be that they're wrong and that Ford outperforms next quarter? Yeah. They could be wrong, but then again, with other economic factors coming into play right now, that doesn't seem to be the case. Well, guess what, folks? That works the same way with people. You take a look at the person you're with. And I'm going to say this tonight right now, and the ladies are not going to like this. Ladies, you're not going to like it. It's going to hurt your damn feelings. Ladies, we can tell if you're competitive by looking at your waistline. A woman's waistline tells us how competitive she actually is. Remember what I've always taught you all. Men gather resources. Women gather competitive men. Women gather productive men. And when that woman is no longer able to compete in the open arena of productive men, when she starts showing she's done, men are well advised to take notice of that. Oh, it's over. She's becoming uncompetitive. The next area where women become uncompetitive is their unwillingness to adapt to the environment. When they start becoming unwilling to adapt to the environment, when they stop talking about what they're going to make happen and they start looking for other folks to make it happen for them. You see, a young woman, the entitlement of a 22-year-old woman is not the same as the entitlement of a 42-year-old woman. Guys even understand that. A 22-year-old female isn't entitled the same way that a 42-year-old female is. A 25-year-old female isn't entitled the same way that a 45-year-old female is. What I'm telling you is that men pick up the signs that a female has stopped competing. Once she stops competing, what she's saying is, I expect this nigga over here to carry the load. I expect him to drag me. So you see, she went from being a partner in carrying the load to saying that you gonna carry it all. She went from being a competitive partner in carrying the load to saying that you're going to carry it all. So men start looking at things. We start looking at whining. We start looking at lack of innovation. We start looking at your waistline. We start looking to see if you lost a step. We start looking at the signs that project to us, because what men understand, or at least intelligent men understand, is that this burden is only gonna get heavier. She isn't gonna get lighter as time goes on. When a woman gives up on herself, she lets everything go. Her hair, her nails, her waist, her dress, her speech. You see, the whole reason that a man brings you on the team is because you call it being a good look. The bottom line is that you represent that man well. You represent that man well. That's the point. And if you represent him well, then that motivates him, not drives him, but motivates him. And a man who is motivated is going to get out there and hack and slash and knock over mountains. But more importantly, if you want a man to buy you a $200,000 car, ladies, the answer is real damn simple. Don't try to get the keep a nigga baby. Don't try to sit up here and trap nobody. Don't think you're going to pull some fast one here. Ladies, if you want a man to give you a $200,000 car, that's real simple. Bring him $250,000 worth of femininity. You all have never heard that from any YouTuber, any damn where else. You've never heard that from your family, your friends. You never read that in the book. You never heard it on Oprah. You hadn't heard it on TV. You wanted somebody to break that down to you in very simple, easy to understand terms. I just did it for you here tonight. No, I wasn't joking.
Join me, and I will complete your training.
We're getting y'all finished here tonight. Ladies, if you want to know, if you got a fellow who is driven and he's out there getting it and you want to know how to get him to do top production, it's real damn simple. Hey, I would like to drive a $200,000 car. Let me tell you, if your man is driven, he can make it happen. Well, what's the motivation? Show him that he is worth $250,000 worth of femininity. Because he is going to want the car and the woman and her clothes and everything else to match. Too many women are looking for a sucker that they can get over on. And the problem is men, as we get older, our ability and willingness to be suckers fades. It's a shame, but they're looking for a sucker to get over on because she's uncompetitive. Now she's looking for someone who is intellectually uncompetitive. But let's be clear, he ain't no producer. The guy who retired from the plant, he ain't no producer. Pookie's still looking for his demo tape to get picked up, ain't no producer. The men who are still out here throwing elbows and trying to figure out how they can make this year's income bigger than last year's income, those are your producers. But let me tell you, a man isn't motivated to produce for a female. He's bringing you a $200,000 car and you bringing him $80,000 of femininity. You done brought him $25,000 worth of femininity. Hell, some of y'all owe money. Some of y'all are minus 10,000. Got 3 or 4 bastard kids, overweight, hair messed up, STDs in tow, bad attitude, entitlement issues out your ass. Some of y'all owe money. Some of y'all got negative equity. Oh, I'm hurting feelings here tonight. Yeah, let other YouTubers say things that are popular to you. I could do that. Screw that. Go to hell with that. Ladies, if you want a man to take you on a shopping spree, you want that man to plunk down $10,000 in clothes, it's real easy. Bring that man $25,000 of femininity. Just bring him a little bit more than what it is you expect. Some of y'all gonna be shopping at Big Lots. Some of you already are. Ladies, I'm telling you what it is. It ain't no cheat code. Put in the damn work. A man if you're with a man who is productive, now if you screwed around and you got with Pookie, well, you just gonna be what the hell you gonna be with. But if you with a fella, his money's straight, his paper's straight, his credit is straight, and you talking about, hey, I want to be upgraded, the answer is real damn simple. Whatever it is you want, you just need to bring him 25% more of that in femininity. And he's gonna be like, duh, this is a no-brainer. This is a no-brainer. That's the way it works. That's the way it works. You want it to be pig-knuckle stupid simple. And ladies, you understand that. You understand that if you bring a man $10 worth of femininity, that's about as much as he's going to spend. That's as motivated as he's going to be. On account of the fact that you know it ain't right. That man sits up here. You want him to go buy you a brand new kitchen? I'm like, okay, one of these chicks can get a kitchen. The other one can get a brand new one. Hell, she can get a whole gourmet wing on the house. She can get a gourmet wing on the house. Ladies, you understand what the hell's going on. You get it. So if a lady is not competitive, she needs to start asking herself these questions. Very uncomfortable, I understand, but they need to be asked. Are you still moving at the top of your game? And if you are not still moving at the top of your game, you know damn well if you done fell off and you looking for some place, some safe haven to sit up here and slack off at. You looking for a broom closet or a utility closet to go hide in for half your shift. Let me go ahead and explain this to you very simple. When a woman is on the team, she's supposed to be competitive. She's in the game. She's trying to win. And her trying to win makes you as a man want to win. A competitive environment makes everyone step up their game. The worst thing that can happen to a woman, I'm going to flip this on the other side of it here. Ladies, the worst thing that can happen to a woman is to be shackled to an uncompetitive man. That's the issue. Ladies, a lot of you have sat up here and you've made a game plan to get shackled to an uncompetitive man. Let me tell you, it's game over. That is game over for you. That's the kiss of death for a female. Ladies, you can't sit up here and shackle yourself to uncompetitive males. That's the death sentence for you. You don't know when a man is getting ready to sit down for good. No, women do not make a man uncompetitive. She simply makes him uncompetitive for her. A woman does not make a man uncompetitive. All she does is make him uncompetitive for her. All right. If there are any females out here sitting up here talking about, well, my last man was uncompetitive, but all right, ladies, this is going to hurt your feelings when I say this. I got to say this. This is what I was saying right here. Are you still moving to the top of your game? Ladies, take a look at the last man you were with. Oh, let me get my helmet over here. Ladies, take a look at the last man you was with. You know damn well if you done stepped down. You know it. You know damn well if you've been downgraded. You know it. You know damn well if you hanging on for dear life. You know it. You know it. Bunch of y'all running around right now with third place trophies talking about doing victory laps. Ho, please. Please. That takes a toll on you. Most of the males, listen to me right now, most of the men tuning this program right now, they know damn well ain't nothing in this world worse than being with a chick who you know she was with somebody better. He was more alpha. He was more driven. He gave her more status. He gave her more notoriety. The money was more free flowing. Take a look at what she's driving now. Take a look at what she was driving then. There's not a male, listen to me right now, who was in a situation like that, who it wasn't hell for him. With her sitting up here patting you on the back and this, that, and the other the whole damn time and telling you how great you were doing. How she didn't need all that extra stuff. I posted a video on my community tab here last night About a young woman talking about high value men are overrated. She married an average guy. Baby, if it didn't really matter, if the average guy was so great, you wouldn't be making a video about how the average guy was so great. You'd be chilling and living it up and wouldn't say nothing about it. You know damn well you missed that look. You know damn well you missed that. Ladies, let me tell y'all something. You sit up here and this idea that you're going to find a productive simp. The problem isn't if you can't find him. The problem is if you do. You know damn well if you are sitting up here laying up under some nigga that kisses your ass. If you're laying up under a dude who ain't competitive, he's out the game. He's just looking for a peaceful death. No woman wants to be with that dude. She'll tolerate him if she knows she's knocked out the game. Then they're both two little failed sad sacks together. Well, she'll tolerate that and he's knocked out the game. She ain't gonna be happy with that. A woman always wants to see the eye of the tiger in her man. A woman always wants to see that streak of dangerousness in her man. A woman always wants to see that. That never, ever gets old. She is always going to want that, even if she didn't qualify for it. Yeah, damn it. Mic drop. Even if she didn't qualify for it, she still wants that. She'll sit over here with Easy Bill and tell him, oh, that's great. That's what. Oh, you don't need no eye of the tiger. I was already with that before at one time. Couldn't hang with it, but I was already there before. But yeah, you don't have to do all of that. Why, I'm perfectly fine over here on my way to the retirement village. Let me tell y'all, an uncompetitive man puts years on a woman. Ladies, I got to read your mail. Ladies, I got to do this to you. I got to read your mail. We got to cut past the bull jive. An uncompetitive male puts years on a woman, even if that male isn't necessarily an epic failure. You might not be a Pookie, but a male who is soft puts years on a woman. A male who is soft puts years on a woman. A male who is soft puts stretch marks on a woman. A male who is weak and uncompetitive puts crow's feet and cellulite on a woman. A man who panders to a woman and strokes her ego and kisses her ass and doesn't demand that she step up to the next level, that man is putting years on her. In some cases, he's putting decades on her. Now, let's be clear. She'll take everything he damn well got if he has anything to give. Most of them don't, but if he does, she'll take it. But that's going to be the end of that. Soft, uncompetitive men put years and decades on a woman. They age them well before their time. They strip them of their femininity. They start looking like boys. Did I say that? You damn right. Soft, uncompetitive men, understand something. It takes a firm, competitive man to bring the femininity out of a female. A soft, uncompetitive man who removes a competitive landscape, his female starts looking like a boy, starts looking like a teenager, starts looking like a tomboy, starts looking more and more masculine. Because what a woman understands is that man is taking his place in the world, competing against other men. Let me try this a different way. Every single woman within the sound of my voice and everyone outside of it, you want a man you can brag on. Oh, I said it. Been saying it for years, but let's just go ahead and put this out in the open. Every man understands that if his chick used to be with a dude she could brag on and she ain't bragging on him like that, you dead in the water. You dead in the water. You know that she's thinking about that dude. You know she's thinking about it. You know damn well that's what it is. You know she's thinking about it. And the only thing that makes her happier than bragging is being able to brag more. You know why? Because that is the only competitive edge that a woman has over other women. The quality of her man. If the man ain't on point, she ain't on point. There's nothing she can do that will boost that value for herself. Either that dude is that dude, or her value takes a nosedive. Women live to brag on the man that they got. And you know what? The more, I'm going to say this right now, fellas, a lot of y'all don't understand this, but the more, I don't want to say detached necessarily, but the more distant from what she's doing and focused on what he's doing that he is, the more she likes it. She likes being able to go among other females and her man is on autopilot. Now, that doesn't mean that he doesn't acknowledge her. That doesn't mean they don't walk in the room together or whatever. But a woman wants a man who just behind his eyes, you can see there's more than one thing going on. A woman likes to have a man that there's more than one thing going on behind his eyes. He's constantly war gaming. He walks into a restaurant and wonders how much it would cost to buy it. He picks her up a pair of shoes and wonders how much it would cost to make it. He goes to a dealership to buy a car and he wonders how much it would cost to build it. See, that's what a woman is looking for. She wants to see that's really gears turning behind his eyes. Let me go ahead and explain that to you a little bit better here. First picture you see right here, you take a look at 50 Cent, you take a look at Vivica Fox. There was 50 Cent on the come up. That was a man. What did he tell you? My mind's on my money, my money's on my mind. I'm fully focused, man. My money on my mind. That was him right now. At that time, he was ruthless about it. And that was what the women loved about him, because you could see he wasn't focused on women. He was focused on grinding and building. So she's like, oh, hell, I ain't got to worry about him falling off. He is 100% focused on what he's doing. That's why you see some of these fellas, your best rappers, your most successful ones and whatnot, they take pictures like this one. They ain't looking the chick in the eye. They're not looking old girl in the eye. He's looking at the camera. He's looking at other people. But he isn't looking at her. He got his arm around her because, see, that's a done deal. That's a done deal. You stand over there and be good. I bought you the damn dress. I bought you the shoes. I bought you the jewelry. You sit over there and be good. I'm doing business 24/7. I'm doing business 24/7. You are part of the business. I will focus on you when it's your turn. I'm focusing on the business right now. And that's never going to end. Now, here's the problem. The problem that we run into is just like men will insist that a female become a hoe and then tell her, I would never marry your hoe ass because you're a hoe. Females will sit up here and get a man to be a trick. They will sit up here and get a man to drop off every damn dime he's got. They'll get a man to become uncompetitive and soft and cater to her every whim and drop his ass the next day, the next year, for doing what she said to do. Females will sit here and turn you into exactly the type of soft, uncompetitive male that they cannot stand if you allow them to do it. They will sit there and transform you into exactly the type of uncompetitive, defeated, sorry, sad sack simp that they can't stand. And will be patting you on the back all the way to the cemetery. And she will justify it. Ladies, I got to tell the truth on y'all. Some of y'all in the chat were like, ooh, yeah, you exposing it here. Ladies, there's a bunch of you Most of y'all, you justify doing it. Can we just keep it real? Fellas, a woman will justify doing it. Y'all want to talk about crap testing? To the young man who called last week and didn't know what a S test or a crap test is from a woman, that's testing male competence, not confidence. And as far as a woman is concerned, if you allowed me to do that to you, then you wasn't the real thing. So it's okay that I trampled you. It's okay that I exploited you. It's okay I took what you got. It's okay that I milked you and juiced you. It's okay that I left you hollowed out empty husk. Because if you let me do that, then you were pretending to be something that you weren't the entire time. Therefore, it justifies me running you over. You were being fake, and it was only a matter of time before your fakeness was going to cost me. Therefore, I'm perfectly justified in ruining you. Because you were phony. Fellas, the ladies ain't going to say it to you just like I'm saying it to you right now, but you see a bunch of them co-sign what I'm saying. You better take it as the truth. They're checking. These ladies are not going to tell you straight out like that. The lady's not going to tell you straight out like that. If you want to know why it is they can be so hardcore and cutthroat and ruthless, that's because she's like, hey, she's looking out for number one. And if she figures that you are a faker, it's like, oh, well, let me just go ahead and finish running you because you thought you were going to fool me. You thought you could deceive me into thinking you were something you weren't. When a woman thinks that you're trying to deceive her into thinking that you're something that you're not, then she says, oh, it's open season. No holds barred. I get to do you however I want to do you. And you're like, hey, why is she doing me dirty like this? Because she's like, you're fake. You're phony. I tested you. You failed the test. You're phony. So let me just go ahead and run you dry now so I have plenty of time to move on to the next one. A woman never forgets when she was with a man and she was operating at the top of her game. Fellas, the biggest lie in the world is that a woman can take a downgrade. Biggest lie in the world is the woman can take a downgrade. Women don't take downgrades. They don't do that. Women don't take downgrades. Women do not do that. That's not the way they operate. Even if you think you saw her take a downgrade, no, you didn't. She thinks she's found a safe island until the next elevator comes along to take her back up again. A lot of the females are going to hate this tonight because I'm just spelling it out. But ladies, we are discussing power dynamics. Male-female relationships, I'm discussing power dynamics with you tonight, not dating. I don't care about your dating lives. I'm discussing power dynamics. Fellas, you can believe whatever the hell you want to. Your mama, your grandmama, your auntie and them, just understand something. The only reason they're with that man they're right now is because he was the best she could do at that time. But if she was ever with a dude who was making $1 million a year back when she was 20 years old, don't you know she been waiting for that nigga to come back around ever since? She been waiting for him to come back around ever since. If he didn't, she'll settle for Mr. 250 over here. And to the fellas making 250, like, damn, I ain't struggling. Dude, she been bigger. She's seen too much. Y'all sit up here and talk about these westernized women. Okay, if these westernized women, if that's what they are, then when you tell me that she's seen bigger and better, you can't tell them once they've seen bigger and better. Well, if they saw bigger and better than you, what the hell makes you think she's going to settle for where you're at? You just where she at until bigger and better comes along. Because she knows it doesn't cost her anything. It ain't going to cost her nothing. Or at least she tells herself she won't. Because there's a whole lot of single mamas out here carrying 3 or 4 kids thinking they're going to get another ride and they ain't. But let me tell you, even if she tells herself, I know I can't do better than you, I want you all to understand, when women tell a man that, I know I can't do better than you, but is she saying, what she's saying is you're the best I think I can do and I need you to stay put until something better come along. You put her in the environment and you make that a real possibility for her, make it a real viable possibility for her to get that. Watch that tune change. Watch that tune change. That chick is used to resting her butt cheeks in $150,000, $200,000 cars, and you say, here, get back in your Nissan Murano. You think this gonna fly? That chick is used to a dude sitting up here flipping out the card, and she gets dressed right. You think she going back to Kohl's? Fellas, what planet you immigrated in from? Ladies, who you think you fooling? Not gonna happen. A woman never forgets when she was on top. Those were her glory days. Take a look at that picture of Melissa Ford on your screen there. They never forget being at the top, them glory days. That never gets old. And then when she looks in the mirror and she sees this older, heftier, worn down, broken down version of herself, she remembers two things. Oh, you're not gonna like, dudes, listen to me. I'm trying to tell you for your own good. Just listen to me. Listen to me, if nothing else, for your own good. A woman remembers two things when she does that. She remembers what she used to look like, and she remembers the man she was with when she looked like that. Even if she didn't qualify for it, when she was at the top of her game, she remembers, number one, what she looked like, and number two, she remembers the man she was with. She remembers the man who built her. She remembers the man who put her in that position. She remembers what that's like. Tonight's program, one of the people I really wanted to talk about here, didn't get to say very much about that, but one of the folks I wanted to talk about here, little old Foxy Brown. No, not Foxy Brown. Young Miami. As you all know, Young Miami was floating with P. Diddy. And a few months ago, Young Miami was competitive. She was ultra competitive. Yeah, because she was like, this is what it's like at the top. This is what it's like at the top. And she got the express elevator there. She liked it. She said, this is nice. Then P. Diddy let her know where her position was in the bigger picture. He informed her of her place in the bigger picture. Don't y'all know that broke her? Don't you know that broke her? DJ Academics just did a program about that. Don't you know that broke old girl? She started talking about, I think I'm trisexual, transsexual, I'm just everything. She didn't know whether to spit or go blind. She was looking all kinds of crazy and depressed. Next thing you know, came the Met Gala. Take a look at that grin on her face over there on the left. P. Diddy said, you can roll with me for one night. Take a look at that grin on her face. Take a look at that. All teeth. All teeth. Don't you know that's a woman who recognizes, yeah, this is me at the top of my game. She's like, this is nice. This is me at the top of my game. Do you think she gonna be able to peacefully go to $100,000 a year, nigga? Did he say nigga? I sure did. Do you think that she's ever gonna be able to retrace her steps back? Do you think she's going to be able to go and get with a manager at Best Buy? Do you think that's going to happen? Here's the real problem. If she ever found herself in that position, it seems like she on her way, but if she ever found herself in that position, you think she's going to be happy? Hell no. Take a look at where she was, dude. Take a look at where she was. Catch a clue. She's not all teeth because she's next to Diddy. That's the point I'm making to you. She's not all teeth because she's next to Diddy. She's all teeth because she knows right here, right now, this place, this time, this me, I am at the top of my game. It's never going to get bigger or better than where I'm at right now. This is it. This is me at the apex. This is me at my pinnacle. The world is never going to think about me the same way again. The world isn't going to think about me the same way. Right now, I'm at the top of my game. Untouchable. Everything else after this is a downgrade, and then I got to tell these folks I'm okay with it. All right, next order of business. Ladies, to the ones who started at the beginning of the program talking about, oh, I'm competitive against myself. I got to ask you a simple question here. Do you have more status today or yesterday? Are your best days behind you? Or are your best days in front of you? In the chat room, Karmakaze, you can call P. Diddy a homosexual if you want to. He's more productive than any heterosexual male you've ever gotten next to. No shade. But by the way, I just thought I would point out for you, by the way, baby, he runs laps on any dude you've ever been with. For some of the fellas in the chat room want to throw dirt on his name, by the way, I'm not saying he is homosexual, but if he is, by the way, he laps your ass every day of the year standing still. So what does that say about you? While you got the nerve to think you're going to kick dirt on his name and his productivity, by the way, baby, your last 3 men couldn't afford to vacuum out his Rolls Royce. And I ain't even talking about money. I'm talking about raw productivity. You need to remember where you fall in the pecking order. Big Vibes, what it says is you're a delusional loser is what it says. You don't say nothing about me. It says you're losing. It just says you're losing. Folks who can't compete and haven't made a mark got the nerve to talk about folks who are out here putting up superstar numbers. But by the way, if he's so bad, show me the last 3 men you've been with and if they've come anywhere even remotely close to that man. Show me the last 3 heterosexual alleged men you've been with, and let's compare their productivity to P. Diddy's, and then we'll see where you fall in the pecking order. Big Vibes, you might want to get yourself a treadmill and some Slim Fast and some supportive relatives. I recommend you just stay out the conversation. Nobody wants to be like you. No shade. I'm just saying, you sitting up here, sitting in the nosebleed seats, trying to talk about MVPs on the court. This is the problem with the internet. Silly niggas want to sit up here and talk about MVPs on the court. Meanwhile, you're not even sitting in the nosebleed section. You out there in the damn parking lot watching on your cell phone on the tailgate. It's always somebody who didn't even qualify to make it to the Bush Leagues trying to talk about what the pros are doing. That's crazy. But on the internet, they do that. So just understand, on the internet, and that's what the barnyard babblers do on the internet. I could compete with P. Diddy. Ain't all that. He ain't all that. Show me the last 3 men you were with, Big Vibes. I don't know where, he's waiting to get that job at Taco Bell. All right. Can't take you seriously. Get your life together. Do you have more status today than you did yesterday? Ladies, are your best days in front of you or your best days behind you? Let me give you a very simple barometer. Take a look in your damn mirror. Take a look in your damn mirror, ladies. Are your best days in front of you? Are your best days behind you? Where you at, ladies? Let's just keep it real for a minute. Where you at? Are your best days in front of you or are your best days behind you? Are you living your best days right now? And if you are, we should be able to clearly and plainly see them. Are you living your best days now? Or are you having to remember backwards to your best days? Are you sitting in the sweet spot now, or are you having to remember backwards to your best days? I did tonight's program because I got to thinking about young Miami. I got to thinking about her, and I was saying to myself, how in the world do you end up here? How does this happen to you? It happens when you become uncompetitive. It crushes your soul because when you're with guys at the level of Jay-Z, Rick Ross, P. Diddy, 50 Cent, you are among the most competitive men on the planet. Their vocabularies are different. The things they talk about are different. The results that they get are different. And you notice as soon as you're not in their presence anymore, that's what the hell happens to you. When you get cut from the team, everything else is a downgrade. And it sounds all funny and things when you don't have to compare it to nothing. But you know if you lost. You know if you've been downgraded. You know if you've been kicked out the pros and you've been sent back to the Bush League. You know when it's over. You know when it's over. You know when that's it. You're done. You know it. I don't even have to tell you. You know when your competitive seasons are over. You know when all your best days talk is everything behind you. You know when it doesn't matter how hard you work. It doesn't matter how hard you work, how much you do, how much time you put in, how much effort you contribute. It doesn't matter what you do. The fellas that you have access to will never be able to get you to the level of the fella that you used to have access to. The reason why, if you have more status today than you did yesterday, matters because you know full damn well if you're simply stuck in a position where the best this dude can do is the best he can do. And if you've been somewhere better, then you're going to have to tell yourself, well, we'll make it do what it do. But what you're really saying is you got beaten, you're uncompetitive, and you're done. Let me tell you, ladies, once y'all say that, that's it. That is it. It is over. It's off to cat ladies and insure. When a woman gets cut from the team, it's a life-altering event. Now she spends the rest of her life delusional. That ain't so bad. Some of y'all got some crazy ass aunties. Go take a look at some of their pictures of them back when they were in their 20s. It's like, I'll be damned. You're going to see one of them players around somewhere. It's like, what the hell happened? She couldn't make it work. That's how she ended up with your Uncle Fred. Uncle Fred is cool, people. I'm sure he is. I'm sure he is. We got lessons to learn here. However, you might disagree. Therefore, the telephone lines are now open. The number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933. Also, I'm going to go ahead and open up the Zoom. We're going to go ahead and open up the Zoom here. By the way, some of those competitive ladies, some of you competitive ladies who were saying that you were, I'm being competitive. Jason, I got up this morning, looked in the mirror, I saw a warrior, I saw a competitor. Ma'am, I'd like to see one too. I'd like to see one too. So if you're still competing at that level and everything's great and Swayze, I'd like to see a competitor too. I'd like to see the level at which you're competing. Shouldn't be an issue. Shouldn't be a problem. Hey, winners like winners. Winners like winners. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Okay, some of the folks in the chat room who was talking big. Some of these folks here talking big, they upset, is hurting their feelings. Look, being upset with me is not gonna fix your little red wagon. Trying to tell me, well, Jason, you're hurting my feelings. That's not gonna change the temperature. It ain't gonna happen. Get your life right. All I'm doing is reporting the news. People, all I'm doing is telling you that 2 + 2 = 4. That's all I'm doing. I'm just telling you that 2 + 2 = 4. That's all you need to know. I'm just telling you that 2 + 2 = 4. If hearing that 2 + 2 = 4 hurts your feelings, offends you, bothers you, ruined your day, wrecked your evening, you might want to take a look at yourself and figure out why is it that 2 + 2 is so offensive to you. Because it's not going to stop equaling 4. That's not going to occur. See, so many people have been used to being lied to that they go places and expect everybody's just going to lie to them. That everyone's going to tell them the distorted, bloated, contorted, mutated version of reality that they want to hear. But that they're not actually going to be required to hear, you know what, actually you're screwed up and you're stupid and you're wrong. Here's what the reality is. They don't want to hear that. By the way, if you were informed by my mods or myself that you need to call in, that was not just a nifty, cool suggestion. That was an order. So if you've been instructed you need to call in, you definitely need to do that. Or permanent vacation, we can do that as well. On tonight's program, I'm talking about when a woman gets cut from the team. We're talking about when you get cut from the team. Y'all got to understand something here. Most of the time, unless you are a superstar athlete, you get cut from the team. Really, that's the end of your career. You're not being cut from one team so you can join another team. And once you get cut from the team, that's really the beginning of the end. It really, really is. That's going to be something to keep in mind because a lot of you don't understand. You think that getting cut from the team is one step to another step. It's usually just the step out the door. Okay, Kareem, I do not know what you are doing, but it looks like you are in a car. Your car is real darkened out and stuff, like you running around picking up folks so you can commit crimes.
I'm leaving my folks' house and I'm headed home.
Okay, brother. You had the lights out. I thought you was getting ready to do something we can't really talk about.
I don't get down here like that. I'm calling in from DC 202. Yeah, I just wanted to call in because I like the broadcast. And plus, I'm the one that goes by the government name Justin Davis. And I was talking about how I'm a truck driver and I'm soon to take my IT certification class come the 1st. And you were talking about being competitive. And I was like, well, I'll be 36 on the 11th and I want tips to be better competitive. I don't have any kids, by the way.
Okay, you're 36, you want to become more competitive. First and foremost, you have to have drive. Drive is what sustains you when motivation, when pleasure, when all these other things have faded. If you do not have that, nobody can give it to you. You either have it or you don't. Drive is, you'll know if you got drive when you start measuring your ability to suffer, measure your ability to bleed, measure your ability to have discomfort. Because the people who can tolerate that the most and persevere through it who become the most successful, period, point blank, end of discussion. The next thing is you have to have an uncompromising set of standards. You have to be your toughest critic. You have to be hardest on yourself. Nobody is going to want to see you succeed more than you do. So you have got to be ready to hold your own feet to the fire every day. Very difficult to do when there's no punishment to you for doing so. The next standard that I give you all is that you want to see your income double every 24 to 36 months.
Okay.
Now that's the standard that you use, that every 24 to 36 months, your income should have doubled. If you're making $40,000 in 24 to 36 months, it should be 80. And then 2 to 3 years after that, it should be 160.
Okay. Okay.
That's
like I say.
If you have no kids, that's good for a start, to be totally honest, because depending if you're in a major metropolitan area, 160 will leave you comfortable, but will be far from enough to see you over the horizon.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for your tips. Like I use your broadcast as motivation and things of that nature. I'm always trying to do better. Like I say, I'm a dump truck driver at the minute. And then I just passed my CCNA IT class. CCNA IT class. I'll be going for the certification exam on the 1st. And then in the fall, I'll be enrolled at AWS Cloud. I'm taking the IT route because I got a bachelor's degree, and I just feel as though, I mean, there's nothing wrong with truck driving. I just feel as though I'm a little bit too intelligent for that. I mean, no offense to anybody else. I'm just talking about me personally. I eventually might own a dump truck or two in the future, but I feel as though my time and talent, energy, and brain should be put towards scholarly type things.
Well, you'll certainly have an opportunity to prove it, so check back with me in 3 months. I'd like to hear how things go. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. We appreciate that. Let me go ahead and see if I can get Kenny up here. Let's see. Kenny, you've had some things to say. So this will give Kenny an opportunity to go ahead and say them. By the way, if you all want to give us a call on Blog Talk, you are welcome to do that as well. The telephone number is on your screen. 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933. So the phone lines are open. Kenny, there you go. Hello, Kenny from the block. And what is on your mind?
Hi, I'm from Philly, but right now I'm in the U.S. Virgin Islands. And I just called up because a lot of your talking points, I think you could use different talking points.
Why?
Especially when you're talking about women.
Why do I need to do that? What's wrong with the talking points I'm using? What's wrong with them?
You could use more updated talking points, more
Okay.
modern ones. And because you're looking at women who are 40 years old.
Okay, slow down. You said updated talking points. How are my talking points outdated or not up to date? What's not up to date with them?
So men and women are both obese, or they're not.
Men and women are what?
Overweight.
Okay. What's your point? It's not many. By the way, it's not many, ma'am. It's most women today. It's not many. It's most. Over 60%.
They're about equal.
No, ma'am. Over 60% of the black female population is overweight, and half of that is obese. So no, ma'am. It's not some women. Most women today are overweight, and with half of those
men
being
are keeping
obese.
up with them.
Men weigh less than that, but here's the real issue here. That doesn't help you. So you saying that isn't a benefit to you, and it's not a positive to you. That's just like me saying, well, there's folks who are poorer than black folks. That doesn't help us by me saying that. So what you're doing is deflecting, but deflecting is what children do. Let's talk about what adults do. Adults don't go around looking to get their feelings saved when the adult is doing something counterproductive. An adult isn't supposed to be emotionally fragile.
Yeah, but I think a lot of the people today who are not in relationships but would like to be are fragile, are emotionally fragile.
Emotionally fragile people should not be in relationships, Kenny.
I think a lot of people need more encouragement, and some of these talking points, I mean, they're doing a good job at getting the show going.
Okay, Kenny, do emotionally fragile people need to be in a relationship?
I think everyone has emotions, Jason.
I did that second time. Kenny, do emotionally fragile people need to be in a romantic relationship with another human being?
I answered you in that people who have
Okay, that's a
emotions,
yes or no question. Should an emotionally fragile person be pursuing romantic relationships with other human beings?
I don't think they should be, but that's not stopping people.
Okay, that has nothing. Okay, that has nothing to do with you. You're babbling on. The only question is what you're babbling on. The only question is, should an emotionally fragile person even be trying to get into a relationship with another person? No, they shouldn't. They need to get themselves fixed in an unfragile state. Then they can join together with another person. Otherwise, all they do is bring their damaged being to another person and damage them too. And speaking of damaged people, you muted yourself, Kenny. So this shows how smart you are. Kenny, unmute yourself. Yeah. This is the brain trust that's trying to dispute this. Go ahead, Kenny, and finish. Kenny from the babble. Go ahead.
I like what you were saying about Young Miami, but because she is a more modern example to use. But when you're talking about Lisa Ray and Vivica A. Fox and Foxy Brown, all these people who are in their 50s or older, it's not realistic. They don't fit this modern time. Young Miami does.
Okay, what about them? What about them doesn't, ma'am? What about them doesn't fit? I'm noticing you just say things. Like what you say doesn't really have any proper context. You say things completely out of context and completely outside their meanings and definitions. You kind of just say things. So you're having an emotional venting, but you're not actually making a coherent argument. You're just saying things. Can we have something coherent said?
No, I was listening to you. I was listening to your broadcast. And like I said, I'm responding to different points in your broadcast. And right now I'm focusing specifically on Young Miami because she was a good example in terms of being a modern day woman. But what I would have said to add more context is, will she in 20 years, when she is 40, end up like Vivica A. Fox or Lisa Ray? And is that really what you want young women to choose as their example? Are there not other examples?
Did I say that I want women to end up like Vivica Fox or Lisa Ray?
Or Young Miami?
Okay, did I say I want the women Young Miami's age to end up like Vivica Fox and Lisa Ray? When did I say that?
This is definitely a caution point that you're talking about, but that's what I'm saying.
Okay, I asked a question, Kenny's. You're not very good at this.
I'm very good at it.
You made a claim.
A lot of implications.
You made a claim. You made a claim.
You don't have to say something without implying.
Okay, Kenny, we're not going to talk over the host either. You made a false claim. You were asked to substantiate it, and you're doing what you're always doing. You're talking and babbling in circles. When did I say that young women today need to grow up to be like Lisa Ray and Vivica Fox? Third time. When did I say that?
It's silent. It's an implication, and you're smart enough to know the difference.
I didn't say that I want anyone to grow up like them.
That's exactly my point. You didn't say it, but
they're in the same boat.
And the visuals.
They're in the same boat with Young Miami.
And so that's exactly the point, is you don't want women to grow up being like those examples if they're paying attention. But you didn't say that.
You would have to be a retarded person not to understand that the cautionary tales are Vivica Fox and Lisa Ray. That's why I'm mentioning all of them together. Vivica Fox, Lisa Ray, Foxy Brown, Melissa Ford. They're all in the same boat, ma'am. So you're having a lot of intellectual and mental schism here if you can't see that that's the point.
Why don't you choose other examples that are more fitting, since those are clearly not where we should be 20 years from now?
Because
That was my point.
this is a cautionary tale, so you can't caution someone on where they should be going. You caution them on where not to go.
You can add a cautionary tale with some good solutions at the end of your message.
These are good. Okay, if you're arguing this, then you already know what the solution is, Kenny.
If
you're arguing this, you already know what the solution is, Kenny, don't you?
You put some examples of women that are actresses and celebrities, and then you put pictures of other women who are Instagram models and, you know, people who are on the internet that nobody knows. And my question is, if you're going to share people, celebrities and actresses that people know, rappers, where are the examples on balance that is the portrayal of, and this is where you want to be. This is where we're saying you don't want to be as a cautionary tale. So this is what we're recommending you want to be, but it doesn't have to be all boobs and ass all the time, which is what you portray as a solution.
Okay, well, actually, I show different things other than that. So if you're going to try to throw ad hominems, you're going to have to get better at it, because right now you're kind of sucking. But go ahead and try if you want to. I just showed it on the screen.
I don't have to throw anything.
You're not doing very good at this ad hominem thing. You're not doing very good. I'm going to go back and practice.
When someone makes a point, you come back with an insult, and you should
that was not an insult. There was nothing insulting about that. That's a statement of fact. You didn't ad hominem. You're not very good at it. I'm just saying, if you're going to try to do that, you need to get better at it.
Okay.
So that's a helpful piece of advice, not an insult. Hello. You've been doing it the whole time. Most of what you say is very incoherent. If you go back and listen to yourself, there's not a lot to it. Now, as far as using a quote using a different example, I don't have to use a different example, because that's the same as telling somebody, how do you avoid the flu? Well, yeah, you could go lock yourself in a room, but that's not helping them. What you do is you point out all the danger zones. That's what you do. PSAs for avoiding diseases don't tell you the good, quote, good places to go. They tell you to avoid the bad ones, because by definition, if you avoid the bad ones, you're good. That takes care of 90% of ending up in the right place on its own. Kenny doesn't understand this.
So does washing your hands, so doctors found out years ago.
Yes, but you're washing your hands so that you can remove bacteriums and microorganisms from them. What they're not telling you to do is wrap your hands in plastic. And they also tell you, watch out for people who are sneezing around you. Don't grab a doorknob and then rub your face, rub your nose, or rub your eyes. Be careful about licking doorknobs. We don't tell you all that other stuff. All we have to do is tell you, okay, these are the bad spots. These are the bad behaviors to avoid. You avoid that, and that will fix 90% of your issues to end up where you wish to be.
I don't think that's realistic, and maybe that's why we have different perspectives, because I actually have kids. You have to explain things to them. You've been around youths as well, so I actually thought you would understand that. It's not about just what is basic and what is known to people, adults, when they grow up. It's sometimes not everybody knows. Sometimes you do have to show them, what is the balance. What is the positive side of this equation? That's all I am suggesting.
The positive side of the equation is having the personal character, which I'm trying to drill this into you here, Kenny, having the character to face up and recognize that the mistakes you make are products of your own misconceptions. That you don't end up where Vivica is, that's the whole point. Apparently you don't know the story. You don't end up where Vivica is by accident. You end up there by a series of bad decisions and choices.
Everybody has choices. That's right.
Okay, you just sat here and said we need to explain the other side of it. The other side of it is, hey, you get here by making these bad decisions. If you don't make these bad decisions, you won't end up over here.
Here is a positive example, Jason. Kerry Washington is married to a Black man.
Are you serious?
He was a football player. You can say whatever you want to say, but like I'm saying, is add in some positive examples where Black women are not just showing boobs and ass, so that you can just add a little balance.
Y'all, she just invoked Kerry Washington. I mean, I will just let that speak for itself.
Okay, well, let it speak for itself, because there's someone respectful that I like.
Kerry, okay? I'm sure you do, ma'am. Your folks are from the Caribbean. Yeah. Your folks are from the Caribbean. I'm sure that's y'all's thing. Well, that just explains so much. It just explains so much.
If you say so.
Yeah, there you go. Just a big pile of useless just flops in your lap there. These are the products of bad decisions. These are the products of years worth of bad decisions, misconceptions, false assumptions that their bad decisions would not permanently hobble them.
What's that? Being married?
I'm talking about the folks. Kerry Washington, first of all, you have to ask yourself if she's somebody that folks would want to emulate. That's the first thing.
In what way?
What about her would a young woman want to emulate?
Compared to Vivica Fox and Lisa Ray?
What's the difference? Kerry Washington would argue with you. She wouldn't say anything negative about Vivica Fox or Lisa Ray, by the way.
That's exactly right. So why aren't you using her as a positive example?
You just defeated yourself, ma'am. Kerry Washington would not be saying any of these negative things about Vivica Fox or Lisa Ray or Melissa
Because she is
Ford.
A positive person.
Excuse me. No, she would say that they're all peers. She would say that they're all peers in the entertainment industry and peers as women. So she would not be invoking any negative character traits on those women. She would equate herself to them. So your own example disqualifies you. Kerry Washington would be saying you're wrong. Kerry Washington would say you're wrong.
That's a terrible example. Rappers in the industry are going against each other. Women, we're talking. So to say that women in the same industry don't fight with each other is a terrible example. I'm just giving you a woman.
Kerry Washington would not condemn any of those women. Kerry Washington wouldn't say, Kerry, the example that you brought up, Kerry Washington, the example you brought up, would not say anything negative about those women. She would equate herself to them. So therefore, you just destroyed yourself with your own example. Your own example would not be negative against them.
If you would like some new talking points, I just tried to give you some. Be more positive.
Why does this bother you so much if it doesn't apply to you?
Because you talk about being the business and trying to bring some information and some positive solutions to the community. And yet a lot of the way that you talk is more on balance towards the negative side.
It's the real side. If you take truth as a negative, then that means you have a problem.
No, because I know how to speak truthfully, positively.
Okay, I'm speaking truth positively too. You're triggered because you have a problem with facts and math.
I am triggered because I think you could offer different examples. And when I shared some other examples, tried to go back and saying that these women should be trying to bash each other. And all I'm saying is actually we already have some women in another industry who do that. I wish that wasn't the case. But we do not need that example in another industry.
Okay, this isn't about being an industry. What I do is I choose individuals that people can spot and identify and recognize because they have some knowledge about their lives. I could name people from my own life. You wouldn't know any of them. I do have one question, though. You did mention your children. What does your husband think of this?
Think of what?
What does your husband think of your fragility?
What fragility?
That you've expressed here tonight, that the truth triggers you and bothers you and disturbs you.
I'm not triggered or bothered.
Yeah, I asked you, what does he think?
He's not thinking about this.
Where is your husband?
Sleeping.
Really? Kind of early.
We're on vacation, so, we did our business.
So
some power naps.
That's great.
And now I'm here.
So you're telling me his wife is up at odd hours of the night and she's got time. He's asleep and his wife is
only 9. It's 9:48.
I agree. It's only that. Yes, thank you. I agree. It's only that. Well, 8:48.
Yeah.
But it's only that. So I just couldn't help but notice. By the way, so allegedly he's asleep.
Yeah, I mean, he did a lot of driving on getting us around today.
I was about to say, how far did he drive to get to that place there? I'm like, that car must have wings. But all right, I'll take your word for it there. Because she mentioned children. She didn't mention a man in that regard. And
we don't have our kids here.
it's just the two of y'all.
That's right. So plenty of time to get into this business with you.
That is great. That's wonderful. Where's your ring? That doesn't look real.
I don't care if it looks real or not.
Folks, doesn't look real to me. But you know what?
How would you know, Jason? You're not married. And you shouldn't even be talking to me like that.
What is your point, ma'am?
What's your point? I just called to give you some suggestions because I like your broadcast. What I like about it is trying to help the community do better.
This is for everybody. They understand I'm being real nice about this because this is the part where I usually say, "Oh, good, I'll pay you $50. Go get your husband." Now, this is the part where I usually say that. Now, I'm not saying it right now. Anybody's like, Jason, oh, goodness, Jason, what are you looking at? You all know that's usually what I say about now is, by the way, I don't believe you. I'll pay you. Go get him. Now, that's usually what I say. Because it's just the two of you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that would be edifying for all of us. But by the way, I usually say that because anybody can buy a piece of jewelry, but jewelry to the side. I'm just wondering if he feels the same about this fragility.
What fragility?
Because we're speaking very plain facts about whether or not when you get cut from the team, how does it affect you? Are your best days behind you or in front of you? All these things are bothering you.
No, see, that this doesn't bother me. That's my point. The reason why I call it is this does not. I look the same today that I looked 20 years ago. Okay.
That's literally, how old are you?
I'm 42.
That's literally not possible. That's literally
I don't know what to tell you.
Okay, man, it tells me you're delusional. That's literally impossible. It's literally physically impossible for you to have gone from 22 years old to 42 years old and you have experienced absolutely no physiological, biological, cosmetic changes. That's physically impossible.
Maybe this is the reason why this is a needed conversation is because it's not impossible. I choose not to look like Vivica Fox or Lisa Ray. And I still weigh the same, 140.
Okay, but your epidermis is not the same. Your bodily organs settle inside the human body. You can't control that whatsoever. The expansion of your face and jowls and your cheekbones, you're not going to have any control over that for 20 years of aging, ma'am. I can keep going. There's a reason why you're wearing There's a reason you're wearing eyeshadow because that helps to conceal crow's feet and things. Ma'am, there's a reason for that.
I wear one thing. I don't even wear lipstick. It's called eyeliner.
There you go.
And it's the only thing.
There you go.
That I like to wear.
I don't think that's the only thing.
But at the end of the day,
hairline. I think
you just
hairline.
Put your
hairline.
I do skincare. I'm trying to get you a skincare thing.
I'm glad to hear that. Hairband.
Yeah, what about my hairband?
You said things hadn't changed.
Okay.
A 22-year-old woman doesn't need a hairband.
My husband's knocking on the door.
Hey, that's great.
Why?
You say he's knocking on the door. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Tell him you're ready to come out of the closet. Metaphorically. And I'm sorry, in your case, literally. Tell him you're ready to come out the closet.
Yeah, because he's in the bedroom. I'm in the bathroom.
Okay, if he's knocking on the bathroom, he might want to figure out if something's wrong with you there. But hey, come here, Mr. Man. It's just you, me, and a few thousand of our closest friends. Hey, that's a good question. Is he white? Hey. Bermuda, Jamaica. Ooh, I want to take you. Tell him don't be shy. It's just you, me, and a few thousand of our closest friends. I'd like to know if he thinks she looks the same as she did 20 years ago. No, that wouldn't be a fair question. Not a fair question.
He wants to know.
Not a fair question.
If you think I look the same
today
ma'am.
No. The fragility thing. Fragility. Fragile.
He says to him, I do, but it doesn't matter what strangers believe.
Well, you know what? There might be some truth to that.
This is my husband.
There you go.
I told you.
There you go.
All right. Any more questions?
Ma'am, you've answered all my questions. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah. Good luck, you guys.
And there it is. So, yeah. Jason. She's got Jason this time. She got him, don't she? She's got him. If you all don't stop trying to bet against me, folks, if you don't quit trying to bet against me, how many times I got to tell you don't ignore me? If you all don't quit trying to bet against me, did I call it or did I call it? Let me see this man who's okay with you like this. Let me see this man who got you carrying on us. Let me see this dude. By the way, shout out to Poco Loco and my man Tommy Felix supporting the B1 movement here. Thank you very much for everybody who's contributed to tonight's program on PayPal, Cash App, Super Chat, Venmo. Folks, did I call it or did I call it? You thought that ring was a knockout punch? Are you serious? How many of you didn't know that? Because remember I said, now this is usually the part where I say, bring me the guy. Oh, Jason, he's just trying to slither out of it. No, I'm not. Y'all said, y'all know this is usually the part where I say, let me see the guy. I'll pay you. Let me see him. Y'all got to understand, to the slow bus kids, come back on amateur night, buddy. Come back on amateur night. My man Dion Coleman on deck. We appreciate you there, brother. Project Leroy. You know it's checkmate all day, all summer, all winter. Cleavon McClendon, we doing what we do, brother. We doing what we do. Did I call it or did I call it? Real time. All day, every day. Folks, let me tell you, this, you start doing this so long, it just gets old to you. How many of you idiots out there thought that ring was a knockout punch? And then when I said, this is usually the part where I say I want to see him. This is usually the part where I say I want to see him. Oh, he's asleep? I don't believe that. He's been driving around, but it's only 8 or 9 something. He's been driving around, or he's tired already. I don't believe he's asleep. Go get him. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Man, look here. Y'all better come back on amateur night. My name's Jason Black. You don't really want it. It just seems like a good idea. It seems like an excellent idea to challenge me on it. It just seems like a great idea. It just seems that way. It really, really isn't. It really ain't. Let me get caller from area code 646. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, I'm OCN Shaq. Yeah, and I don't know why they told me call in, just because I said you was doing some high level simping on one part where you was like, man, y'all ruining them women and this and that. I mean, you can't give them no excuse. We all make our own decisions. So
okay,
it's like some high level simping because you was getting a lot of.
Okay.
Yeah, hey, I'm not
uncompetitive. You're talking about when I said that uncompetitive men age women? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, where's the lie? You're saying that's simpish. Where's the falsehood in that statement? I don't get it.
Okay, high level simping, getting them amens from the women on it. That's all. That's what simping is all about.
Sir, there were plenty of men who agreed. Sir, there were plenty of men who agreed with the statement too. So what you're saying right now is flat out false fantasy.
They probably do.
Okay, sir, that's not the definition. That's not the definition of simping. That's not the definition of
Every
simping,
dude might
sir.
do about 2% simping. So that was probably your 2%.
Okay, sir. No. Sir. That's your 10% crack rock, sir. That's not the definition of simping. Simping isn't just because you didn't like something you heard. That's not simping, sir. You're totally clueless on the definition of the word. That's not simping. What I stated was a fact. You can't say that what I stated was a fact and then say it's simping. It can't be simping and also be simultaneously factually true.
Well, in your case, since you're online with an audience, you were simping for the audience to make sure you keep the women on hook, line, and sinker. Keep them online for you.
Okay, sir. If it wasn't a false statement, then the women just agreed with a true statement. If it's not a false statement, it's not a simping statement. We're not putting cellulite and stretch marks on chicks, man. We're not forcing them to eat King's chicken. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. What I'm saying is that if you are with a fellow who's making $50,000 a year, hell, I'll be better than that. If you're with a guy who's making $150,000 a year, sir, be quiet. You're with a guy who makes $150,000 a year and he kisses your ass. That's an uncompetitive male. And that guy is going to ruin you.
Now, you know what? You see, I'm living in the real world, right? So in the real world,
I doubt it.
Regular people, we're not all just ruining each other being regular people. You know what I mean? Come on, let's be real,
sir.
Now.
The majority of women are with average men by definition, because mathematically speaking, that's what average is. And the majority of women are ruined by the men they're with.
How are they ruined? You make your own decisions. I think
because she doesn't qualify for something better. Now, if she qualified for something better and could actually hold her slot,
she'd be bitter with herself.
Okay, but if she qualified for something better and could actually hold her slot, that'd be different. But the average male doesn't challenge you. The average male doesn't make you step your game up. The average male is looking for a quiet, peaceful death.
Nah, not exactly.
Yes, exactly.
Thing,
no, sir. No, sir. No, we're not going to walk past that. Sir, stop where you are. We're not going to walk past that. Okay. The average male, the idea of pensions and retirement were created for the average male. The middle class idea and practice. Okay, sir, listen carefully. The common practice of a, quote, middle class, of a minimum wage, of a salary, that was created for a pension, a retirement. That was created for the average male, and that is what is the rule and commonplace today. No, sir. I'm saying that all those. No, sir. Depending on where you are in life. No, sir. Depending on where you are in life. Sir, listen carefully. Sir, when you enter the work, minimum wage is for the average person entering the workforce. So yes, at that stage, yes, it is. Okay. No, sir. No. There's plenty. Sir, there's plenty of adults too. And by the way, there's plenty of cities that have raised the minimum wage to $15 an hour. Sir, did you not know that in New York City, sir, in New York City and other places, they've passed the law to make it the minimum wage $15 an hour, sir.
Okay, for the average.
Okay, did you not? So you didn't know that.
I'm following you.
But what you're saying is that's for anybody in New York City, sir. That's not for, I don't know, this crack rock. Y'all need to get some new stuff. That they cutting it with some bad stuff.
The Black Americans that I'm talking about, we don't. The average for the Black American is not minimum wage, is what I'm saying. But so on another topic, so were you saying,
sir? Actually, no. To be totally honest, with the average pay for a black male in their 30s to 40s being about 41, 42,000, average black female 32 to 36,000. Actually, no, it's closer to that.
Yeah, that's more than minimum wage.
No, sir. It's more. It's more. It may be more than $7 an hour, but I just explained to you about they're raising minimum wage all over the place. So yeah, when you get to $15 an hour, yeah, you'll hit around $36,000. This is called math.
Right. Okay, so let's say
this is called math. This is called mathematics.
I don't think you did.
This is called mathematics.
You said also that Vivica. Oh, okay. You said Vivica. Now you brought her up. Was you saying that she was ruined by 50 Cent? Is that where you were getting at? Is that where you was getting at?
Well, certainly her inability to remain in his presence, that certainly has done a number on her.
Okay, so let me get so straight. So when I went to school, Vivica Fox's father was the in-house suspension teacher, and I stayed in a lot of trouble, so I knew him quite well. He's a good, smart guy, educated. Her choice to choose an ex-gangster, that was. Oh, so now he's making it easy. I'm telling the truth. Her father was an in-house school suspension school teacher. You can look it up. I know him. He's dead now. So when I was in high school, when I was 43, Mr. Fox, I knew him. He's a good guy. He chose to choose a gangster. And she's 37 years old, dating a 27-year-old. That woman chose her own room.
How old did you say you were again? You just said it once, sir. How old did you say you were again?
I'm 43.
Okay, you're 43.
Her father was an in-house in-house school suspension teacher. So, yeah, I actually know her father. So what I'm saying is, she chose to choose a gangster. 50's a smart businessman now, but she chose
sir. First of all, she was only with 50 for a short. She was only with 50 for a short amount of time. She's dated a bunch of guys in the industry.
Yeah,
okay, but she dated a bunch of hell. She's been married. She dated a bunch of folk after that too, sir. So you can't count that.
Like 50 ruined her. She makes bad decisions.
No, no. 50 Cent. First of all, 50 Cent, sir. Quiet, sir. Sir, quiet. 50 Cent was the best she's ever been with. He was the most competitive, the most productive. He is the only peak value man she's ever been with. Everybody after him has been progressively a step down.
Not a gangbang because he don't gangbang.
He's a businessman, sir. He's ex-drug. Sir, the point is he is an ex-drug dealer and current mega businessman. How about you?
He was fresh off the street.
Okay, sir, he's off the streets, but now he's a television producer, a music producer. He owned he sold a mega slot in vitamin water. Okay, but sir, you went to the same school her father was teaching at. What happened to you?
Yeah. Hey man, you hilarious.
Yeah, I'm asking, sir. Last time, what happened to what? Okay, but you're talking like you were smarter than him. Okay, but you talk like you were smarter and more capable than him, and clearly he's a lot smarter and more capable than you.
No, I'm not a gangster though, so I'm not living the gangster lifestyle.
It sounds like that gangster is way smarter than you. Not even a little bit, just way smarter. Maybe you could learn something from him.
So you advocating for people being drug dealers? Because I could be a drug dealer if I wanted to.
Apparently you couldn't,
That's what
sir.
Ruins women, right?
Sir, the problem is you can't be.
Money could ruin the
but
women.
sir, you haven't succeeded at anything. 50 Cent has succeeded. What have you succeeded at besides complaining? What have you succeeded at?
I'm not complaining. I love my life. I'm not broke or anything, dude. I got more money than the average person.
If you don't quit,
I do. I have access to money that other people don't. It's true. I'm good at investing. I'm not 50 Cent. What you playing?
Got nothing, damn, homie. In high school, you was the man, homie. The fuck happened to you? I got the sickest vendetta.
Yeah, dude. Like I say, this guy claims he was in high school with Vivica Fox's father, and yet look where you are. Look where you are, dude.
What you say?
You claim you was in school with her father or at a school with her father, and yet look at you. You need to go find a gangster.
What's wrong with me?
You need to go find a gangster to get you out of this dusty rut you're in, man. Start there.
Not in the dusty
Stop
rut.
hating. Yeah, what y'all say? When y'all see a nigga giggling and ain't nothing funny, you done run aground. That's where you are. You have run aground. Yeah, I meant that. Damn, homie. He claimed he was there with her father. In high school, you was the man, homie. Hell happened to you? Vivica chose the gangster. You could have used getting some game from 50. Don't get mad. You could have got some game from 50. She left a peak value dude. Now she's going with working class fellas. Talking about, she acted like she was winning. She acted like it was okay. It's been ripping her soul apart. That man has gone on to bigger and better at an astronomical level. And here this fella called it, he was a gangster. Well, he was. Now he's a TV producer, music producer, media mogul, businessman. Hell, that vitamin water deal alone. That was enough right there. Cassandra, you're on Zoom, or at least you're trying to be. I need you to get your life right. I'll give you a couple of moments here to go ahead and get yourself together, Cassandra. Let's get ourselves together, ma'am. There you go. Oh, Lord, what in the world are you doing?
I'm in hospital.
Wait a minute. Say that again.
I'm in hospital. I'm ill.
Baby, what the hell are you doing calling me from the ER? What the hell is this?
Because they said to call in and I didn't want to get blocked.
The women tonight are insane. Cassandra,
I'm sorry.
Okay, Cassandra, why did you have to call in and hurry up before they turn the ventilator off on you?
I think it's because of the question I asked, I think. I asked if a woman gets older, does that mean she's automatically aged out?
Yes.
I think that's what it was.
Yes. That's the definition.
But why?
Because that's the definition of older.
Question, but why?
Because that's the definition of older, damn it. What the hell are you trying to do?
We don't throw away guys when they get old.
Because what makes men valuable and what makes women valuable is different, Cassandra.
It just seems because I'm old and I'm sick, so I'm out of the game. I'm not doing nothing. But I mean, like, people who are old.
Point the camera down, Cassandra. You always seeing is your kufi. I mean, your beanie cap on top of your head. Point the camera down some. I can't see nothing. There you go. Hey! Don't put on no peep show. Let's not do that.
No peep show. I'm in a gown.
All right, baby. No peep show now.
Is that better?
Yes, that's okay, ma'am. Just okay.
And please excuse me for how I look. I'm sorry.
Okay, Cassandra. Okay, the point is, what makes men valuable and what makes women valuable is different. It is different.
That, but don't we all have something to offer, even though we're older?
What men have to offer as we get older is different from what you have to offer as you get older. As men get older, what we have to offer is productive to women in the sexual marketplace. As you all get older, what you have to offer is productive and useful to children. No. I'm explaining. What makes a grandmother valuable in a family is not the same as what makes the grandfather valuable in a family.
I could see that.
If grandfather wants to re-enter the sexual marketplace, the exact same thing that made him valuable and viable at 25 can be the exact same thing that makes him valuable and viable at 65. Now, granted, he ain't gonna be doing no rock climbing or whatever, but then again, if he gets with a chick who's a bookworm, then that doesn't matter. However, what made him competitive at the age of 25 can still be viable at the age of 65. What makes a woman competitive and viable at 25 will not be there when she gets 65. Ain't gonna be there.
And because I've been listening to you for quite a while, what makes women valuable is their youth, their femininity, the ability to have children. I get it.
Attitude, coachability.
Right. No attitude, being able to be coached
slate.
and led. I dig it.
Yes, she needs to be able to have a good attitude, coachability, a clean slate. As you all get older, there's simply no way you can retain those things. Time is going to take all of those away from you, either very quickly or by the time you're 30, time is going to take all of them away.
Do you mean the ability to have children? Because if you start, let's say you start out as a feminine female. You're feminine, you're bright, you're able to be led or coached, as you put it, and you don't believe that a woman can still maintain that, although she might lose the elasticity in her skin, or her boobs might droop a little bit, or she's a little bit older and she can't have babies. You don't think that she can still maintain being able to be led or coached or what have you, and still be vibrant?
Here's the thing. What you're advocating now is for the exception to the rule. And this would be the same as saying that soldiers don't need parachutes anymore because there was one guy who jumped out of the plane, hit the ground, and survived. So that guy is an exception. No, everybody bring your damn parachutes. You're not jumping out without it.
Well, that makes sense. I wouldn't want you to jump out of the plane without your parachute. But and you don't think that men as they age get a little bitter or lose a little bit of their wonderfulness?
Okay, which part of our wonderfulness as men do we lose as we get older?
Some, and not all men. I'm not saying all men, but some men when they get older can be bitter, can be a little ornery. When they lose their ability to, and I'm not trying to be gross, when they lose their ability to be gangbusters in the bedroom because they're a little bit old. I mean, because both male and female, we lose.
Yeah, but here's the thing. The thing that makes a man most valuable to a woman is his ability to produce and compete at a high level.
And I totally agree with that.
I'm explaining it, Cassandra. You asked a question here. I'm explaining it. Take your meds for a moment. The thing that makes a man most valuable is his ability to compete and produce at a high level. That's the most important thing. Sex is a bonus. Sex is a nice bonus, but it's a bonus. Now, I'm not saying that a relationship does not require sexual contact. It certainly does. But what I am saying is that as many a young female gets spoiled on sex, and I mean that it becomes a bad experience for her because she gets with a little cute dude who is dynamite in bed, but he's otherwise useless. And then after he's wrecked her credit, given her a few STDs, 3 or 4 bastard kids, and her life was sitting exactly where it was before, now she's doing all kinds of crazy stuff out here because she's like, hey, his looks don't produce anything. That's when we say that she has matured as a woman. When she realizes that that's the bonus. His ability to produce for me at a high level, that's the meat and potatoes. That's the essential. Everything else is the extra.
I cannot disagree with any of that. Do you think that there's a median that can be had between older women and older guys, maybe, where we can both because I guess I've always been I romanticize things, always have.
Okay, well, most women are not romantics the way that men are, so there's a real problem. Men are
romantic?
Men are truly, yes, ma'am. Men are truly romantic because, let me go ahead and explain a few things to you all here. Men are truly romantic because, for example, men never forget how they met you. If he met you at 25, he is always going to see glimmers of that 25-year-old female in you, assuming something of a tremendous nature doesn't occur. But that's romanticizing someone, saying that they'll always be that way. Women are not like that with men at all. Women don't remember you the way you were. Women see you the way you are. This is what I said about Steve Harvey. Women don't have nostalgia for men the way that men have nostalgia for women. Women don't have nostalgia for us. Women don't pedestalize us. Men pedestalize women. Women don't pedestalize men. You don't have nostalgia for any man you've met. You might, quote, remember him fondly, but you don't have nostalgia. When he shows up today, all you see is that man standing in front of you. He doesn't get to bring the psychic benefit of what he was 25 years ago. He's either productive and useful to you today and he can perform today, or he's a bum steer. Now that's female psychology and female nature. You do not see us the way we see you, and you do not romanticize us the way that we romanticize you. You're using that term, but in reality, when you go to the root of that term, we're the only ones who operate that way. A woman doesn't have use for a man who cannot produce. A man can have use for a woman to an extent who doesn't.
And I don't know if I've ever thought of it that way, because if I'm in love with you, and I've been in love with you, and I fell in love with you, I usually, and I can only speak for me, I usually see you the way I saw you when you was holding my hand and we were walking in the park, but
that's not romanticizing.
I didn't hear you.
The problem is, though, that's not necessarily romanticizing is the issue. Because romanticizing has an element of fantasy and idealism. So you see, women being beauty objects, we can idealize that. You can't idealize a man's productivity. He either can produce, he can pay the rent, he can pay the car note, he can give you a good look, he can either change the plumbing, he can either perform or he cannot. That's problematic for men because that doesn't lend itself to nostalgia.
But I think women, if you fall in love with a guy, really fall in love with a guy, and it's not about the sex or whatever, usually you see that guy through rose-colored glasses.
Not true.
And everybody.
It's not for you either, ma'am. Hey, Chris, ma'am. Chris Rock once said that a man is only as faithful as his options. Well, guess what? The same thing for a woman. That's the definition of hypergamy. When you say that a woman, quote, loves a man, for example, here's the problem. Love doesn't have a definition. It means whatever the person saying the word wants it to mean at that time. So your definition of, quote, love may be in practice, could be an act that is contradictory and diametrically opposed to what I define as love. But neither one of us can be wrong. Your definition of love is valid. My definition of love is valid, even if you completely disagree with it. There are some people who will tell you that the definition of loving a woman is she gets to sit at home and kick up her feet and eat bonbons and sit up here and play laser tag. Then there are other people who say, I'll be damned. The definition of love is making sure that she stays in the workforce and be all she can be. Neither one of us can be wrong because you're asking us what our definition of love is. There's not an objective definition. It's a subjective one. So when you say, well, if you really love a man and you truly, quote, love him, here's the problem. Females in general, y'all's definition of love comes with demands. That's the difference.
Does a man's definition of love come with demands for his woman?
Well, a man's definition of love comes with expectations, but I wouldn't necessarily say demands. Not the way that females do it, because think about this, for example. When you were in high school, you gals were ruthless.
I've never been.
When you were in high school, you all were ruthless. The little nerdy kid with the glasses, the little geeky kid, y'all were ruthless on him. If you wanted to sleep with the football player, if you wanted to go on a date with the little cute guy, y'all clowned the little nerdy dude. Y'all were ruthless on him. You didn't care when it was time to go to prom. You didn't care that there was some little geeky boy with thick glasses who wanted to go with you. If he wasn't what you wanted, you humiliated him. And this is at an early age you all did this. Y'all learned that early. So when you talk about, quote, loving men and, quote, you demand it. No, we don't demand it the same way, because you cannot name a high school boy who humiliated a girl who wanted to go to the prom with him. You can't name a high school boy who mocked her, made up mean little nicknames against her. You can't name that. Hell, you can't even name the same thing for marriage. When men get divorced, even if they could claim it, most men don't even try to get alimony, child support, or nothing else. They just slink off into the sunset. Men in relationships, we get beat up all the damn time. We're expected to just sit up there and suck it up. We don't have demands. Now, the women, feminism, Me Too, women's rights, sexual revolution, that's demands. Because demands come with preferential treatment. And you can't really name where men are getting preferential treatment today.
Unfortunately. But see, I was that geek in high school. See, I wasn't the popular girl. I was the
Okay,
fat girl.
but there was some Steve Urkel there who thought you were the cutest thing on campus.
If he did, I didn't know it.
Okay, well, it's probably because you stomped on his ass and got him too humiliated,
oh my
Cassandra.
God, I never. When I say, because I was the odd man out, I was the kid being made fun of.
Okay, but those come in stratas and come in levels. So maybe in your circles you felt that way, but the bottom line is, if I go through your high school or middle school yearbooks, I guarantee beyond all shadow of a doubt that I can find two dudes who tried to holler at you, and it was just like, oh, she's standoffish. No,
Mr. Black, if you could do that, I will pay you $100. Wasn't nobody trying to holler at me? And I mean, look at me. You're looking at me right now. I look like shit. I'm in the hospital. Well, nobody trying to holler at me. No,
okay, well, this is like 50 years later, though, Cassandra. I mean, it's not like, this wasn't like you just graduated from high school 5 days ago. This is not that.
No, all I'm saying, all I was really trying to say is that it sometimes it just feels like, this is the person that I've always been. Like, you just want to make a real connection with somebody. To screw the sex and the looks and all that. And yes, having money and being productive, you're 100. Yes, that is very important. But I think sometimes it just feels like making a real connection with somebody is lost. And I've been listening to you for at least 3 or 4 years. And I dig what you're saying, especially since I'm older and I have children and I want them to be productive and happy and what have you. But sometimes it just feels so overwhelming.
Well, first of all, we can't have a good conversation if we don't have an honest conversation. And what I try to do is get people to stop using, cliches and slogans and actually have an honest conversation. And truth be told, the whole point of tonight's program that I was making here tonight is about when a woman gets cut from the team. And the bottom line is,
and you mean by that being dumped, right? Like no, the guy says, no. That
isn't what being cut from the team means. It can mean that. But what I'm saying, for example, it's like when you have an athlete on a team. If you're playing for the Lakers, that's it. That's the most iconic name in basketball.
Yeah.
You're just being able to be on that team. If you play for the Yankees, that's it. There is no higher level to go to. If you can get on the Yankees, you've made it. But you can end up in a situation where you are first string, then you're second string, then you're third string, then you're off the team. Or you could be first string and then off the team. What I'm saying is that what affects a woman's life the most is when she was playing at her highest level, when she was at the top of her game. She never forgets that, and she never forgets the man that she was with. She never forgets when she was with that peak value dude. And what I'm saying is what kills y'all's souls is when that ends. When you realize that from here, it's going to just be an ever descending value going downhill. What that means is that you do not have a better tomorrow to look forward to. That's what it means. You see, the reason why Kenny was triggered when I stood up here and put up these pictures of the young nubile females is because when you're 21, 22 and your body is banging like a kick drum, what we're saying is that you've got better tomorrows to look forward to. There's a brighter future in front of you. That's what we mean when we say that. That there's a better tomorrow. That your best days are in front of you, not behind you. So when we sit up here and say, hey, you was balling with a dude, making $600,000-$700,000. He was at the top of his game. He was producing. He was admired. He was looked up to, not just by your mama and them. This is a guy who made his mark on the world. He's made his dent there. And then for whatever reason, because sometimes what usually happens is chicks tell themselves, I can do better. They try to monkey branch their ass out there and find out that's not a branch. That's just a shadow. And then there's nothing to grab. So in a lot of cases, they wind up getting themselves eliminated. They get cut from the team because they didn't show up for practice anymore. Because they told themselves, don't worry, I'll be able to build my own branches. And it doesn't work that way. Most of the females today who got cut from the team, one of the things I tell people about is that females today have to watch themselves very carefully because they think that having a job gives them veto power.
And it doesn't.
They sit up here, they got a man who is producing the hell out of it, leading the hell out of it, but they so stuck in their single mama ways that if they were raised by one, or even if they weren't, they're watching Instagram and everything else. So they're constantly holding out. And in the process, they wind up getting cut from the team and they have to take this big step down. But women don't see it that way, because if a woman's been with a guy who makes $1 million a year, she's going to tell herself, I can get that for the rest of my life. Then when she winds up with a guy who's only making $250,000 a year, she says, oh, well, don't worry. This is just going to be a temporary holdover. And
there's the rub, because you think, and unfortunately, well, I never thought that, because I was always trying to get on the team, but I've known plenty of women that thought that they could, quote unquote, do better and never did better. And as you get older, you kind of sort of realize the mistakes you made. There's the rub. So,
well, I mean, like I say, the author Steinbeck said it, that, you know, the reason why socialism never took root in America was because that most of the people here consider themselves to be temporarily embarrassed millionaires. And that they just keep doing what they're doing. Eventually, they're going to end up there. And what I'm saying is, no, that's not actually the way that occurs. But I want you all to recognize the subtle changes that happen, or the drastic changes that happen when you don't realize that what happens when you get cut from the team. When a woman stops being competitive, that's the end of the line for her. That's it. Health ailments, the difference in the way she looks. She's no longer inspirational to anybody. She's just this little hermit closed off into herself, or she's this whining loud nag going down the street yelling invectives.
But what if you're well, I guess what if you're neither? And
how would you know?
I don't know.
Thank you. Okay.
Quite honestly, I don't know.
That's why I'm stopping you there.
I mean,
by the way,
I'm not a shrew.
What if you're neither? But how would you know?
In that I can't answer, Mr. Black. I don't know.
If you have a competent man that you actually listen to, then you can have an objective viewpoint of yourself.
And maybe that's the problem. That could be the problem. So again, as I said in the chat before I did the Zoom, I wasn't trying to be disrespectful.
Well, yeah, but Cassandra, I'm explaining it to you here. Mm-hmm. The reason why I'm holding a nice program is because people don't talk about this. We sit up here and we say these things in the abstract, but we don't talk about the real reality. Vivica Fox is hurting. She's been hurting for decades now. You know why? Because she ran off the biggest, bestest producer she could ever have. That was it. With everybody she sat there and told Vlad that, well, 50 Cent, was doing his thing and building and making albums and things like that. And I was Vivica Fox. Think about that for a few moments. When asking what 50 Cent was doing at that time when he was making his albums and building his business, doing things, and I was Vivica Fox, and she's acting like those two were equivalent. She said it to Vlad like those two things were equivalent. Like they had equal value. This is insanity. And what I'm telling you is that a woman, you all become nostalgic for yourselves. You're not nostalgic or romantic over men. You're nostalgic and romantic over yourselves. And the most diabolical, devastating thing that can happen to a female is to put her in a second place or third place position. Because she will never, never, ever forget when she was number one. Y'all are way worse than men who washed out as athletes. You're way worse. Because you've got an idealized version of yourselves that most people don't argue with. But the bottom line is you'll never forget that, ever. It will mar you and mark you for the rest of your days. The reason why I brought up these celebrities is because actually in reality, they should be more bulletproof than females of the general population. These women have proximity to quote unquote similar men that you all can only dream of. And yet it's not happening. That's the problem. And it's marring them for their lives. You take a look at Nicole Murphy. You take a look at Vivica Fox. You take a look at Robin Givens. You take a look at Stacey Dash. We can go down the list. When a woman has been at that peak level, the most devastating thing in the world can happen to her is to shackle her to an uncompetitive man, even if that man thinks he is competitive. Now, there's where it becomes really deceptive. There are a lot of guys out here who think they're competitive because they make a quote above average income. That's not what defines being a competitive male any more than your income defines being an alpha. If your woman has been with a true alpha and now she's with you, just recognize when you're the guy she's settling for. And it's usually going to be because you are uncompetitive.
Is that hurtful for the male?
Say again?
If let's say the woman was with somebody who was like a peak producer, and then she got with somebody who wasn't as peak producer, and the guy knows that, does that hurt the guy? Or does that make him feel more empowered because she's no longer with the peak producer, she's with him?
Does that hurt a man if he ever
does that bother his ego, or does that boost his ego?
No, it's not. It's if he ever figures it out, or if she ever tells him. Is it going to hurt him? That's going to ruin his life, because he's always going to be thinking that there are two people in the car, and she's going to try to convince him. It's always a lie, but she's going to try to convince him, oh, that doesn't bother her. And the reality is, that she's thinking about, that the experience was richer with someone else. That no matter what you do with her, the experience was richer. It was better. It was more sensitive. She was more impassioned. There's one of the things that guys look for is that, think about this for a few moments. I tell guys about this all the time, and it sounds crazy, but there's a reason why it resonates with men, because it should. If you're with a chick who never raised her fist to anybody over you, you were second best. But it's true, Cassandra. You know damn well. You think about in your life. You think about the men that you raised your fist to another broad over. Those were the men. When you talk about love, those were the men you loved. You loved those men. You were willing to
deny that, but that type of love is dangerous.
You were willing, but love is dangerous by definition. Do you think us protecting y'all is safe?
No.
Thank you. Okay. If a female tells you that she wouldn't fight another chick for you, and she's telling the truth, oh, I don't do that anymore. Okay, fellas, get up and leave. Get the hell up and leave. Because you know why? Because there's another dude I guarantee you she done threw down for. And that was the man she would die for. So what I'm saying is that the level of, quote, love she's giving you, it ain't the same as what she gave him. That ain't the same. If love don't make you crazy, if it didn't make you crazy, if that man couldn't make you crazy, she didn't love him. Not at all. So as a man, how is it I'm going to give you my best? I'm out here every day. I'm working. I'm toiling. I'm sweating, baby. It's coming down. I'm giving you my best. And I know the only thing I get in a relationship with you is you. And I know that you're not giving me your best. I know you gave that to somebody else. Y'all think about that for a few moments.
Yeah.
Before now, she was so angry. She was so jealous. She was so upset. She is throwing things. She's upset. She's outside your apartment screaming. Then she gets, that's what she tell you about when she did that with the other fella. Oh, I ain't never gonna do that again. And then she's with you, and it don't matter a damn thing that happens. She never gets upset or anything. There's nothing. Yeah, she doesn't give you the same. She doesn't give you the same level of reactivity. Okay, now we're going to go somewhere the fellas might not like it, but the men already know this. You about to learn this, Cassandra. That extends to the bedroom.
Yes, it does.
Dude, if she is that docile about you in the streets, that's the way she is about you in the sheets, because the sheets are the reflection of the streets. If you that dude on the streets, that she's just going to carry this over in here because the energy is the same. If you're not, get ready for milk toast, flat back, floor rug. Get ready for it. That's what it's going to be. That's all it's going to be. And as a man, you just told me that I'm working for nothing. Because if I'm giving you my damn best, and I'm out here getting it, and I'm risking life and limb, and I'm watching years fall off the calendar, and I'm dropping the best at your feet, and I'm looking in your eyes. I'm looking at your skin. I'm looking at your reaction. I'm sitting here next to you, and I know that you don't have the same level of passion for me that you did for that other guy, and that there's nothing I can really do to get you to feel that, because I'm a different type of fella. I don't light your fire like that. You damn right that's gonna bother a man. Why do you think the dudes, one of the first things they want to go to was the sex is good with him as it was with another fella? Because we know, hey, that's not going to be something she can fake. She can't fake to herself that she likes it with you as much as she did with dude. And you know if she liked it with him better, you know what she's thinking. You know what she's thinking. And the bottom line is as far as dominance is concerned, we don't even want the threat of that dude in the room. We don't even want the threat that he's in your thoughts. So we've got to remove that. A man can't really have a woman unless he's the apex. He got to remove it. And a woman will sit there and tell him he's doing great when she knows damn well, no, you're not. But you're the best she can do. But if she's been with a peak value man, not high value, peak value, this is the top of the chain for her. She's been there. I don't give a damn what happened. She remembers that. Here's a deadly little thing I want all the fellas out there to think about. Here's a deadly little thing. Oh, I'm going to bust up so many relationships. Man, everybody going to go to Judge Maybelline when I get done here tonight. Fellas, I want you to do a little experiment with your woman right now. I want you to do a little bit of an experiment for you right now. I want you to do something. Go and tell your chick you want her to bring you 5, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, 5 pictures of herself when she was with whoever the man was before you. Tell her bring you 5 pictures of herself with that man. See what she was wearing. See how she looked. And then I want you to go walk over there and tell her to get in the closet and go dress up with the very best thing she got for you. And see if those 2 people look the same. You go take a look at the way she looked with that man. You have the guts to go have the courage to say, well, how did you look with him? Let me see what you were wearing. How did it fit you? If that broad had a 6-pack with him and she's bringing you a donut, she letting you know, oh, you already know you ain't getting the best. You're not getting the best. He got it, not you. Are you still motivated to put in those 20 hours of overtime this week? When you see she was killing that leather dress just 5 years ago, 10 years ago, now we bringing it to you. Halfway to Lizzo. Are you still motivated to go work that extra 20 hours? Are you still just as motivated? Do you have the guts to say, hey, let me see how you represented the man before me? And then let me see if that matches how you representing me now. Whole bunch of women out here getting over on dudes, on the ones they can get over on. But all I'm explaining to you all is why it happens. She got cut from the team with a producer. She didn't make the cut. She told you she made a choice, but the truth of the matter is a woman don't leave the damn team. She doesn't do that unless she no longer qualifies for it. Now she's trying to convince you that she's an MVP. You better go take a look and see how she represented the man before you. See what that looked like. See how she looked. See how she carried herself. See what it looked like. And then ask yourself, are you getting her best? Because if you ain't getting her best, Cassandra, why should I give you mine if I'm not getting yours?
I agree with that 100%.
Then we have to level with the fact that there was a certain man who brought that out of you.
Oh, yes.
Now that's a hard thing, but just it's kind of like you as a female. If you knew that this fella was with some honey-colored chick with hair halfway down the damn back, and she was banging off the meat rack, and he was working 70 hours a week, then he gets to Cassandra, and he's working 35 hours a week at Walmart. 5 years later now, it's only 5 years later, he's putting in half the number of hours for you that he did for her. You gonna notice that and you gonna feel that.
Yeah, that would hurt. No doubt.
Because you understand that he's motivated. And you're like, hell, he's not giving me his best. He isn't.
He motivated. I guess that was the type of female I was or used to be that would probably motivate me to try to see if I can motivate him to be what he was with the other female, if that makes sense.
A woman never forgets the top of she never forgets when she was at her peak. She never forgets that. They got the pictures, they got everything. Worst situation is if she's trying to forget it. If you see a woman here and is like, oh, I ain't got no pictures or nothing, first of all, she's lying. But second of all, if she's telling the truth, then she doesn't want you to see what that was. I'm just trying to let you all know, by the way, for somebody who's on this end of it here, if a woman's sitting up here and she don't want you to see that, it's because she doesn't want you to see what it was. And why would she? If she's sitting up there and, I don't have those pictures, if she's telling the truth, if she's lying, that's bad. If she's telling the truth, it's even worse. Because you want to be the pinnacle of that. You want to be the top of that. Life is too damn short to have people who are not balanced with you. Life is too damn short for that. Baby, I hope that ain't yours.
Yeah, it is. I'm not sure why it's going off, though. I'm still breathing.
Okay, that's not a great statement. I'm not even going to ask.
I mean, I'm still here, and it stopped.
I'm not going to ask you.
I think I was leaning on a fire or something.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, because we don't need no nonsense going on. Well, Cassandra, I want to thank you for tuning in, checking in with us here tonight.
Well, I didn't want to be blocked. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. It is what it is.
Did you learn something?
I always do when I listen to you, Mr. Black.
Okay, well, you can go back and replay this, and it'll make sense to you the second time around. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Y'all, what in the hell kind of program am I running tonight? What in the hell is going on? If you all missed tonight's program live, boy, I don't know what to tell you. I literally don't know what to say at this point. What the hell is going on here? All right, Cassandra, I don't know what the hell she's doing in the hospital for, but girl, take care of yourself. Good grief. Take care of yourself. We love Cassandra. All right. As I was saying here, though, folks, hey, it's the damn truth. I'm giving you litmus tests. Fellas, if you got the nerve or the courage, you can go check that out. But some of y'all, I'm just going to tell you right now, if you don't want to give up your relationship, if you don't want to lose your relationship, don't do what I said. Don't do it. You saw what happened when I was on the phone with Kenny. You saw what happened there. Hey, if you don't want to lose your relationships, don't do what I said. Don't do it. Fellas, don't do it. Don't go back. Don't check the paperwork. Don't look into anything. Don't do any of that. Just leave it like it is. Leave it alone. But if you want to know, if you really want to have a true comparison to find out if you are really that dude, because when the chick is settling for you, she's going to tell you that dude. If you want to find out if you're really that dude, you're going to find out. You end up like Young Miami. Young Miami is turned out. Has nothing to do with the silly stuff y'all they was talking about in the chat room. This has to do with, by the way, it's like, okay, where do I go from here? Young Miami is simply asking herself a simple question tonight. She's simply asking herself, where do I go from here? After me and Diddy are done, after this step is over, where do I go from here? Do I step up? Or do I admit that the ride is over and it's all downhill from here? That you have a man who isn't as admired, as respected, as revered. What do? What is she going to do? Where does she go from here? Come on now. Where is she going to step up to after this? Who is it? Who is it? Who's it going to be? Grab some up and coming rapper? Are you serious? No, you know what she's going to do. Come on now. You know what she's going to do. She's just going to do the same thing that the rest of them are out there doing. They're going to go grab some second or third stringer, tell him he's doing a great job, while she sits back and is like, Lord, please, can I get one more turn? You want to know why so many fellas today are angry? You want to know that? You want to know the real reason why the so-called red pill was able to take off as well as it did? That MGTOW garbage, you know what that is? That's from divorced males. The red pill and MGTOW is a product of divorced males. It's a product of men who got rejected because they were promised and told that everything was fine. They sat there and they believed the woman that they were with that he was fine. Take a look at Dan Jewett. He was married there to Mackenzie Bezos, and he believed it. He believed it. He believed what she said. He believed that he qualified. He really did believe that she could go from the richest man in the world while with her telling him, oh, Jeff was so terrible and awful. He cheated on me and abused me and humiliated me and blah, 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 blah. And Dan believed it. Dan actually believed it. How do you think he feels now? He probably told himself, well, hell, it must be real. She's married me and every damn thing else. And it's like, oh, no, dude, no. Mm-mm. Do you all think he's red pill now? How many of you think he's ready for the red pill now? How many of you think he's coming for that now? How many of you? How many of you want to wager that he's going to go through all the damn red pill videos and stuff now? How many of you want to wager on that? And you know what he's going to say? He's going to say, I done her right, and I was good to her, and I was faithful to her. And that's what he's going to say. That's what he's going to say. And what he'll be saying is the money shouldn't be an issue. The money shouldn't be an issue. Some of y'all got it the wrong way in the chat room too, by the way. Some of you got it wrong. Not understanding some of these things. I'll give you another one to think about. You think about Erykah Badu. Shout out DOC. You think about Erykah Badu. That was it, man. After Andre 3000, that was it. An unusual alpha male, if ever there was one, but after Andre, that was it. She's done. She's done. She can get with other men, but she can't really bond to them because, Andre, top of his game. And everybody since then, have you noticed, it's just been the successive step down. You got somebody at the top of the damn game. That was it. For those of you who think it's just about Mackenzie Bezos or whatever, no. She don't even have to be broke. She doesn't have to be down in the luck. It doesn't have to be, it's not so much a money issue. That's why I'm telling you, look at it holistically. When you take a look at every level. How do you know that Alexander Edwards was a damn dud? How do you know that? Tell me where his confidence is. Tell me where he's taken his piece of the world. Tell me where he's walked out and conquered his piece of the world. Can I say something tonight? Am I going to say it? I'm going to say it. I'm going to say this, and then I probably need to go ahead and just shut the program down. I'm going to say this, and I probably just need to go ahead and quit for the night. Ladies, can we be honest for just a moment? Just a minute. You can go back to being dishonest right after I ask you this. You can go back to being dishonest. But ladies, if I can get y'all to be honest for just one moment. When you think about the man that you want to spend personal time with, are you thinking about Mr. Nice Guy or are you thinking about Mr. Conqueror? Ladies, when you think about the man that you want to spend personal time with, are you thinking about Mr. Nice and Calm and Gentle, or are you thinking about King Conan? Boy, the ladies don't really want to comp to that real quick, but can we just say it like it is? Ladies, when you thinking about it, when you like, okay, I got a choice. Who's going to make the cut? I got a choice, but who's going to make the cut? See this, I'm talking about holistically. When you think about it holistically, where do you end up at? I'm not saying it to be nasty. I'm not saying it for that. I'm saying that when Kenny is still in the chat room, baby. I don't know. I know you embarrassed right now. Don't worry, baby. I'm sure he's a nice dude. I'm sure he's a nice dude. So, baby, stop. You dry snitching on yourself. Stop snitching. Ladies, what I'm saying is that if you all would be honest with the men, what you would tell them is that how a man does one thing is how he does all things. How a man does one thing is how he does all things. So a woman is going to keep that in mind. She going to keep that in mind. She is making a simple calculation. If you're conquering your piece of the world, you win. If she has a choice between a man who's got all those attributes and he got a side of savage on top of it, okay, the ladies are looking for that. The ladies are looking for that. It ain't for no reason. You can get mad at me if you want to. All I'm doing is telling the damn truth. Hey, Brittany. Speaking of which, how's it hanging, Brittany? You're an expert in the field here. So, ladies, y'all got these fellas out here thinking y'all are looking for Mr. Nice Guy with a good income. And what I'm saying is, yeah, you'll take it. But can y'all just be real? Y'all are looking for the total package. And you can't fake it. You're looking for the total package and you can't fake it. He's either got it or he doesn't. So from the most square ass cornball female to the most down in the wood hood rat, they're looking for the same thing. They're looking for those elements. And they'll lie to men and tell them they ain't got it or they're not interested, but all of y'all are the same. Oh, they hate it when I say that too. They're all the same. There's just varying degrees, but it's all the same. So yeah, all I'm saying is know what you're working with. And the men already know this. A woman never forgets if she had somebody better. She never forgets if she's been in a better place, and that will hang on her for the rest of her days. Take a look at her face. Take a look at her crow's feet. Take a look at the outfits she wears or doesn't wear. Take a look at her waistline. Take a look at whether she got up this morning and was like, I'm in it. I'm ambitious. I'm motivated. Here we go. Or did you have to kick her in the ass to get it there? Did you have to do that? Because that's the thing you really need to keep in mind is whether or not she made it there on her own or whether or not you had to apply the pressure. Because there's a dude who got the best out of her and didn't have to apply all that pressure. When a woman gets cut from the team, it's a bad situation. When she gets cut from the team, it's a bad situation because she never forgets when she used to have them championship trophies. Fellas, if your woman was with a dude and she was getting championship trophies, I want a show of hands tonight. How many fellas in here think that a woman's willing to accept a second place trophy? Let me try something a little bit different. How many fellas in here think that a woman doesn't count the difference between the money you make and the money the previous man made? How many of you actually believe that there's really no that she really equivocates them and that there's no difference in her mind? How many of you truly believe that she's not counting your money? That the woman you with is not counting your money? How many of you truly believe that the woman that you are with now is not comparing your level of confidence to the level of the man she was with previously? How many of you? How many fellas listen to me right now and you don't actually believe that your woman is comparing your confidence to the man she was with before? How many of you can do that? How many of you are going to say, no, she doesn't compare my level of confidence to his? How many of you guys actually stop to go see and listen and hear the guy she used to be with? So you can hear, by the way, did he talk better than you? Was he more charismatic? Was he more confident? Was he more sure of himself? Was this a guy who was money motivated and he's out here doing what he's got to do and he's taking the world by the horns? Simple questions. Take a moment and think it over. Jason, why in the world do you have such copious butt shaking going on here? Because I'm making a point. These women, when women are motivated, they move and act a certain way. When you stop seeing that, I'm telling you, she's not competitive anymore. And what destroys a man's soul is when he's out here competing and fighting and bleeding and getting scarred up, and then the woman he's with ain't competing. Because she's like, yeah, I'm done. This is the best you're going to get. I'm done. I'm done. Why do I have to do more? That saps a man's soul. Because he knows how you were acting and what you were doing back when you were competing. Or if he's lucky, he'll never see it. If he's lucky, he'll never see you back when you were trying to compete and trying to win some championship trophies. If he's lucky. I did tonight's program because I want you to understand that when you get cut from the team, it fundamentally changes her. A lot of you fellas are dealing with chicks in that circumstance, and it's just like, okay, you're watching it. I want to leave you with one last thing to remember. A woman is always, always, always looking for a shot at another title. She's always looking for another shot at another title, looking for another shot at another ring. She's just not telling you that. The only time that they don't think that is if the man they're with intimidates them. If he's doing so well and he's so on the ball that he's intimidating to her, then yeah, that's it. She's peaked out. That's the alpha. The alpha is the man who intimidates her. The alpha is the man that she is intimidated by his focus, his drive, his desire, his ambition, and his results. Now you know who the alpha in her life is. And if she tells you otherwise, just understand you're being lied to. Let me grab one more caller here. Caller from area code 240. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, this is Will from Largo, Maryland.
Will from Largo. What's on your line?
I was calling in reference to the lady that had called in on Zoom earlier, and she ended up having a white husband. And I had asked what the issue was with that. And so I was asked to call in and ask that question.
Okay, she's called me up making issues about emotional fragility. And so the next thing we do is we take a look at the environment they're in. She mentioned Kerry Washington, whose claim to fame is not being a person of high character. Her claim to fame is starring as a black woman who is eyed on and desired by white men. So when you start adding all these things together, then you start recognizing what the true objection is to what I'm saying. The true objection is that we're speaking a language of empowerment. You're talking to people who don't want you to speak that language. The other thing is, I have a strong suspicion based on what we've seen here. Usually that goes hand in hand with someone pandering to them. So she thinks she runs the relationship, and in reality, that gentleman runs the relationship. So when you see bedwench behavior, then it starts to make it clear what her real objections are to what we're saying, because if you were listening, you heard that she didn't really have any clear, cohesive, coherent objections to it. She just didn't like what she was hearing, and she wants to wag her finger at us about, quote unquote, finding better examples. Meanwhile, we're taking a look at her life, and what's the better example that she's citing from? When I take a look at the way she's living her life, where's the better example? What's her frame of, I'm just asking, what is her frame of reference? What do you think her frame of, now that you saw everything that happened, transpired during that call, what do you think her frame of reference was?
I don't know, to be honest. Because I don't know her full history. I don't know how long she's been with.
You don't need to know her full.
I don't know.
Okay, sir, you don't need to know her full history any more than you need to know a death row inmate's full history. So let's not try that game. You saw enough.
Okay, well, it's possible, but I think not everybody has an agenda when they date outside of their race or marry outside of their race. Some people just date and marry whoever clicks with them.
Absolutely. You are absolutely correct about that. People do date outside of their race and whatever, and they get with someone who clicks with them. That's great. That's wonderful. Well, we look for telltale signs of what exactly it is that gets them to, quote, click with those other people. That's the point. Now, it's one thing to date outside of your race. It's another thing to date outside of your race because there's something specific about dating outside the race that you click with. And then you start seeing the markers and the telltale signs of what exactly it is that you're clicking with. And in her case, yeah, we're bringing that. She sounded like a Karen. So when you have a black female who is exhibiting and presenting herself as a Karen, that's a sign of how she lives her life. She's emotionally fragile, but whining at us. That's a sign of how she lives her whole life. Then with the gentleman who came to the door there, I don't know. Maybe I'm jumping the gun. He didn't strike me as a paragon of masculinity. I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'm certain he's a great accountant. I'm sure he is. But what I'm saying is I can see why she would come to us with such banal whining and think that she would have an open audience. It's been cultivated in every step of her life. Which is why I also asked when she said her family came from the Caribbean, I'm like, yeah, this all falls into place. We see patterns of these things. Are there exceptions to the rule? Absolutely. But we call them rules for a reason. And she fit the rule to a T. You all saw it happen in real time. So she called us tonight being a Karen. There was nothing I said that was wrong. She just like, well, can you redo it the way I want you to? Well, that's a hell of an entitlement mentality. Where'd you pick up that kind of behaviorism from that you think that that's people are supposed to cater to you like that? And then we sat on the phone with her long enough and we saw what it was. Now, is there any doubt of what we saw, caller?
I definitely think the way you perceive it is definitely one way that it could have accurately have been perceived.
Okay,
She
now
could just be a very opinionated woman.
Well, okay,
a lot of black women are just
there's a
highly
difference
opinionated.
between being opinionated and being an emotionally fragile Karen. Because it is what she approached us with was the issue.
Right.
There's a difference between being opinionated and being a Karen. Karens want to have dominance and control over you. Furthermore, you're an opinionated person who doesn't even have a clear frame of reference of what your opinion is based on. It wasn't like she was calling us with an authoritative, unified ideology of where she was coming from. She just didn't like what I was saying. Well, it wasn't untrue. It wasn't a lie. She admitted that. I just don't like what you're saying. Well, give us some positive examples. You could teach us. You're not giving the positive examples to teach us with. I don't have to give, quote, positive examples. I'm telling you what to avoid. I'm not here to drive your car for you. You're supposed to already have a destination. I'm here to tell you the things that will stop you from getting to your destination. I'm not here to give you a destination. And what she's saying is that she didn't like the fact that we were articulating that. Then take a look at the examples she gave. So I'm just saying, when you listen to it, it's like, oh, okay, well, we would have to, this isn't simply a woman who dates interracially. She's coming from a specific experience. And that experience is colored, pardon the expression, if you will, but it has colored everything else that she responds to. Now, let me find out here, brother, where are your people from?
My people are from D.C., Maryland, and the Carolinas. North Carolina, to be exact.
Let's not do that. Let's not do that, brother.
Let's not do what?
It's not good to lie on your genes. It's not good to lie on your genes, sir. That's not good.
What will give you the impression that I'm lying?
A number of different things give you the impression that that's not a true statement. You're not being expansive enough, sir. 200 years ago, where were your people at?
My family is, as far as I know, my family's just American. I don't have any that I'm aware of. I haven't been told of having any non-Black American ancestry. My grandparents were from Calvert County, Maryland, and I have other grandparents who were from right on the North Carolina Virginia border.
But that doesn't.
Beyond that,
that doesn't tell us. But that does not tell us. That does not tell us where they. That does not. Grandparents does not tell us where they were in 1862.
Okay, yeah, I don't have that information.
Why do I find that to be a little suspicious? For some strange reason, I have a suspicion.
Most of your audience doesn't know exactly where their great grandparents.
You'd probably actually be wrong about that, sir. You'd probably be wrong about that, sir. And here's the issue I have with you.
I bet you money,
sir. Here's the issue I have with you. You strike me as being a little too smart to give me an answer like that. You're too intelligent for that. It would be different if I was talking to a bonehead, but that's not you. So for you to give me the answer you're giving me, you're a little too smart for that. So I don't think that you are unintelligent enough to not know. I would look for somebody else to be that unintelligent, but not you. You're a little bit too quick, a little bit too bright. You're a little bit too smart to give me that answer. So that's why I'm saying I suspect this answer is not honest, because you're not dumb enough. You're not ignorant enough. You're not unintelligent enough. You're too smart. You're too well informed. So I suspect that's not the case. In any case, sir, obviously, if you were asking about this question about the caller here, then obviously you've had some experience in the field, have you not?
Are you asking me, have I dated a white woman before?
Well, non-black. It doesn't matter about white. It doesn't matter about white. Non-black, period.
I my preference is black women, but yes, I have dated non-black women before.
I imagine you have. How old are you?
But I have a strong,
okay.
strong preference for black women, though.
Defend and deflect a little bit later. How old are you?
I am 42 years old.
You have any children?
I do not.
Well, that's a good idea then at this point right here. Hopefully, maybe you'll find the right woman, black or otherwise, whichever you say there. However, you did make a very curious statement there when you said that you dated non-black women, but you prefer black women. That statement doesn't really square. Did you realize that?
No, I did not realize that.
Yeah, that statement doesn't actually square.
In what way?
Because if you allegedly have a preference and you've got free access to that preference, then you're making these statements for political purposes. And I'm saying you can date whoever the hell you want to. That doesn't strain me one way or the other. But what I am saying is that when you make that statement, that this is what your preference is, and that's like saying I'm going to the grocery store and I like chocolate ice cream, and they've got it stocked full of chocolate ice cream, and you're like, let me try some strawberry. Because it would be different if you didn't have free access to it. So how is it a person can have a preference and then tell us, by the way, I'm dipping and dabbing in other areas there? It sounds like they're making a political statement.
I prefer black women because I find black women to be the most attractive, but I don't believe in not dating women based on their ethnic background.
Okay, and what is it for you that makes black? Okay, but what is it for you that makes black women, quote, most attractive?
Just their overall physical features. I just find black women to be the most attractive women out there.
Okay, so you're saying that what makes black women most attractive are their physical features. What else?
I'm not gonna lie, I do like their I guess attitudes is a good way to put it. I like the fact that a lot of them don't really take a lot of shit from people. They generally don't let people like walk over them.
Okay, so you're saying that you find black women to be generally black women to be generally more assertive.
I guess you could say that, yeah.
Okay. And there's a reason why.
But it's mostly physical. Mostly I prefer.
Okay, well, slow down. You say mostly physical, but actually that's a misnomer. That actually really is. We'll get to that in just a moment. Now, you said that you dated some non-black women too. Give me two examples.
I've dated a white woman before, and I've dated a Hispanic woman before.
Okay, a Hispanic woman. Where was she from?
She was actually from California, but ethnically she was Mexican. Okay. But she was born in California.
All right, that's fine. That narrows it down as opposed to South American or something like that. So that just narrows it down.
Yeah.
And the white woman, what was her lineage?
She was nationality. She's American. I think her background was Irish, I think.
Okay. There's a reason why I'm going in all this, because you made a statement. I want to have a teaching moment for everyone here tonight, because originally he called up asking, why does it matter if her husband was white? It certainly does have some sort of impact or influence on the discussion. It certainly does. For the reasons you just gave. What was it you liked about that Mexican woman?
She was just.
Oh, this is a damning commentary on that
Nice.
relationship.
She was nice. She was just chill. she was assertive. She made it known that she was interested in me, and you know, I like I said, I don't have anything against dating women of other ethnicities. There was nothing wrong with her.
Okay.
So
was that the first Latino? Was that the
attractive.
first? I'm assuming you mean a white Hispanic as opposed to an Afro Latino.
Yeah, she was not Afro Latino.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm guessing if that.
So what was it? So what was it you
Hispanic,
liked?
then yes.
Okay, but what else did you like about her?
Personality.
Okay, what about her personality?
She was easy to get along with. She wasn't very argumentative.
She was easy.
She was
okay. She was easy.
She didn't
okay,
she didn't take herself super
okay,
seriously.
slow down. She was easy to get along with. Easy to get along with to do what?
Just to be around, just to chill with, basically. I mean, this was like I was super young at this time period, so this was back when I was like early 20s.
But people don't change, and there's the point that I'm trying to illuminate right here. All right, everyone. Now let me go ahead and make this 720 degrees for you all right now. Let us be very, very clear about something. When you date or mate with someone, you are not just dating or mating with someone. You are dating and marrying have a relationship with, marrying, procreating with their entire family. You're procreating with who they are as a person. You're procreating with their people. This is how you can have monarchies and dynasties. You can literally marry two cultures together with just two people. You can actually marry whole cultures together.
90 seconds.
Why do you think there's such an uproar over Meghan Markle and Prince Harry? You can actually combine two cultures together. So you're never dating, seeing, talking to a woman. You are dating, seeing, and talking to everything she is. You can't separate that white girl from her Irish heritage any more than she can. You can't separate her, cleave her, or peel her off from that. It doesn't work that way, and there's no way it can. So when you say you were with a Mexican female, and then I ask you, what was it you liked about her? Well, she was easygoing, but he's being rather nondescript. Well, I was a lot younger at the time. That's code for she was sexually available, and she approached him, so it made it no pressure for him. But when I ask him about black women, what does he say? Well, I like their bodies, most people do, and I like that they are assertive, and they don't take no stuff off people. Too. Okay, but here's the issue. The issue is faces are an aesthetic, but that is not a person.
10 seconds.
If all you can tell me is I like the face is part of their bodies, first of all, the face is part of their bodies. If all you can say is I like their bodies, I have an affinity for their bodies, then just understand what we're really saying. Sir, the face is part of the body, sir. It is a part of the body.
Yeah, I understand.
And since people of different races have a specific phenotype, look it up. Since people of different races have a specific type of appearance, then what I'm saying is that when you say you like that's I like their bodies. But you're not talking about their personalities, their experiences, where they come from. Now we're removing the cultural aspect of it. You spoke about the Mexican woman. You said nothing about the Mexican culture. You said nothing about how she embodies that.
Well, she was born in America.
Okay, but sir, if she was in California, she's obviously tied to the Mexican culture, sir. I've been to California many a moon. It's practically a requisite there. So let's not try that one. If she was in California, she was down with the team. You have to be. You don't have a choice. So let's not try that one. And you're in your 40s. You should know better.
But she moved to the DMV when she was very young.
Sir,
though.
I don't care if she moved to the moon. Her people let her know what the damn deal is. How old were you when you were with her?
25, 26.
Okay. And why did you end the relationship? Sir, a simple question. Why'd you end the relationship?
She had a kid, and I felt that she
was a single mom. Sir, did she have, technically my ass, sir, did she have a child that she gave birth? Did she have a child she gave birth to before you met her?
She actually gave birth to the child after I met her, actually. And that's where the complication came in.
So she was pregnant when you got with her?
No. I think she got pregnant around the time I knew her probably for a year, and then she got pregnant, and around that time is when she started making it known that she liked me.
So you're saying that she got pregnant by somebody else while she was with you?
She wasn't with me at that time, no.
But while she wasn't with you, she decided, let me go and get pregnant by somebody.
Well, she was already with that dude when she was already with that dude.
There you go.
And that ended up being the issue.
There's my point. So in other words, basically she put up some brick walls for you. Which was the point.
What do you mean by brick walls?
Well, sir, if she's sitting up here sleeping raw dog with another dude, yeah, she's not that into you.
Well, she was with that dude before she met me.
Okay, and I'm going to say this again. When a woman gets pregnant by a man she wants to keep, sir.
Not necessarily.
Yes, sir. A woman gets pregnant by a man she wants to keep. The sole exception to that is if that man has superior resources. If this guy ain't got nothing to offer but sex, she wants to keep him because he has nothing to offer but himself. You just learned something tonight. So like I say, basically in this, situation here, this female chose somebody else over you. That's what she did. You know, she may come back and holler at you because she figures, well, you're beta and maybe you'll help pay for the kid. Which is most likely what you were about to say next, which is, yeah, she got pregnant by some other dude, but then she wants to see if she can work things out with you because the other dude is good for giving out genetic samples. He's not really dependable for being taken care of. And she's like, well, this little color-struck Negro over here, he'll do it. Because you see, she's not confused. She knows when she gets into bed with you, she knows that there's a certain trait that runs through a lot of black males. So she rolled the dice that would work. It didn't. Or at least your version of the events is it didn't. So as I say, when you get into bed with somebody, you're getting into bed with them and their people. Comes along with a certain number of assumptions and expectations. That's the point that I've been making the entire time. You don't ever get into bed with one person. That's like saying you slept with an American. Americans are a specific type of people. There's not no, oh, well, we're individuals. No, Americans are a specific type of people. There's a reason we have the biggest vehicles on the planet. We're a specific type of people. We really are. That's like saying that you like Asian women. Well, you can't say I like Asian women just because of the way they look. Well, that would be false. That would be untrue. Because you see, Asian women behave in a certain manner from a specific culture. They come from a specific geographic location. They come from a specific culture. They come from a specific historical paradigm. So when you say you like an Asian female, you only partly mean you like her looks. That's not who she is as a person. That isn't who she is. You have to dig into that person to get to who they actually are. And that is what you are attracted to. Case in point, you automatically know the difference between going to a birthday party for black folk, Latinos, Asians, Arabs. None of those two rooms are going to be the same. None. Not a one. And your chick in that room with them people she's not going to respond the way she does if she's in a room. If she's Asian, she isn't going to respond how she does in a room full of black folk or white folk or anything else. So I'm saying, that's what I mean by you're not just with the person. And that doesn't dehumanize them. I'm not saying that dehumanizes them and that makes them lesser than. I'm saying that these are specific differences here. And if you get with somebody, you need to understand or accept the reality that you're not just getting with a body. You are not just getting with a body. You are getting with a person who is a product of a specific cultural, geographic, and ethnic environment. Now, some of them may have a bit heavier than others, yeah, but you can't get with an Irish girl without being with St. Patrick's Day. You can't. Maybe she doesn't take it as seriously as some others, but you can't. You can't get with a Mexican female without getting with Cinco de Mayo. She might have it more, might have it less, but that's what it's going to be. And you can't get with a black female, particularly in America, without getting with that culture of resistance. Because we are a product of the last 450 years of our experience in America. And it's touched every single one of us in greater or lesser degrees. So yeah, that experience might be wrapped in a certain type of body. It might be wrapped in something, but that doesn't change what it is. That doesn't change her experience. That doesn't change what it's made her. It'll just be more or less. Even Kenny's little oddball self, but even her. She might not have as heavy a concentration as some other females I can name, but it's there. Now, it might not rule everything, but it's there. So when that pokes its head up, you can't be shocked or surprised that it did. And so if you say you love this woman or you want to be with this woman or whatever, then I also have to know that you are also in love with her experience. You can't separate her from her experience, sir. You can't do it. That's not possible. You can sit here and say, well, she wasn't doing certain things other folks do, but you can't divorce her from her experience. You can't do that. You can be dishonest and say you did, but you can't do it. So all I'm saying is if you're going to proceed in these waters, by all means, do you. But make these decisions with your eyes wide open and just be totally honest and forthcoming about what it is you're doing. And let's not pretend that it's something that it isn't. Dudes who date Asian females, it's no surprise that they tend to get off into anime and manga. It shouldn't be surprising. Dudes who date Mexican females, it's no surprise they start listening to, mariachi music or whatever and eating a lot of Tex-Mex, if not straight Mexican food. You're going to, after a while, it will be that. If you're in California, you're going to get with the lowriders at some point. You're going to be exposed to that. There's no way around it. Some will be heavier than others, but you will be a part of it. Hell, the way she does her hair. Think about just her beauty routine is going to be different than what you experience with black women. Because it'll have to be. And that Irish chick you were with, her nightly beauty routine is going to be different than the Mexican chicks or anybody else's. It will have to be. Same thing with the Asians. What I'm saying is you can't say you love the woman's body and you don't love the way that she does her hair, the way she maintains it, and all the cultural norms that go into that. That's part of her body too. You can't separate the two. And what I'm saying is that, and that's going to have an effect on you because you're being exposed to it. Because that is who she is. And you're being exposed to it.
So what if she's African? Do the same do the same issues arise if you're like a Black American guy dating a?
Correct.
Because I dated a Nigerian chick.
No, there are specific cultural differences between us. There are specific cultural and ethnic differences between us. Specifically, they don't have the same culture of resistance that we do. They don't have the same culture of rugged innovation that we do. See, we had to build American culture from the ground up, from scratch. American music, American art, American clothing. America's biggest export is its, quote, culture. Who made that culture? We did. And you know it's got to be true because when you go to Africa, whose culture do you see them emulating? Do you see them emulating their traditional culture anymore? Or do you see them emulating ours? The dress, the swag, talking about the females, they got weaves in their hair now. They're emulating us. We're not emulating them anymore. They're emulating us. Specifically us and our experience here. Specifically ours. So yes, there are specific stark differences. And if you're dating a chick from Kenya, she's either going to be specifically Kenyan or she's going to be a knockoff of something that you met in Philadelphia or something. But if you date a person from Africa, no, there are going to be differences there. It will not be the same as it is here. Not at all. Specifically for the fact that because of our experiences here, we have put a lot more onus on our unity and culture as a broad demographic of people, whereas over there, they're more tribal minded. So their whole perspective on everything from media to entertainment to politics to religion is radically different from ours. Because they see themselves as members of small tribes, we see ourselves in a global sense. And we are centered in North America, but we really see ourselves as a global dynamic. So from there, we ask our people on code. We don't ask what tribe you from. That's a key difference. So you see, even our inclusiveness of other people and our innate hostility, we don't have the same innate hostility that other people would. So right there alone, if you're dealing with a Black woman from America, from our experience as foundationals versus someone from Africa, her whole is going to be different for her. For example, she will be a person, generally speaking, they're going to be people who are going to be overlooking racism. They're more inclined to overlook it. Okay, well, the problem is, do you want to live a daily life with a female who is making rationalizations about the injustices that happen to you? Because that's what comes wrapped up in that dark-skinned body, too. That's who she is also. You're sleeping with that, too. I'll let you have the last word.
Well, thanks for clarifying thanks for explaining what the issue is. And good broadcast. And you have a great night. Thank you very much.
Thank you for giving us a call here tonight. Hopefully you learned something. Yeah, we'll take a few moments to go ahead and edify that. Take a few moments to edify that. Like I said, you can go ahead and, man, date who you want, be where you want to be and everything. Just knock yourself out, man. If you want to be there and stuff, that's great. But also just be honest about what the reasons are. Be honest about the reasons, because then when you come back and you bring the Karenism with you, then it's like, oh, you done brought something back from over there, which really just tells us you went there for something. And if you went there for something, you probably found it. You probably found it. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. If you are new here to the business, welcome to the program that all your favorite YouTubers love to hate watch. Click that red subscribe button. Click that yellow notification bell. Join us each and every time that we're here. If you haven't been to our Patreon, the link is in the description. We do it every weekend here. So definitely you want to check that out as well. A lot of good stuff going on over there. I think you'll enjoy that as well. I want to thank all of you for joining us here on tonight's program. Thank you for watching live or recorded. Thank you to everyone who has contributed to tonight's program on PayPal, CashApp, Super Chat, Venmo. Thank you very much for your support. We appreciate that. Been a wild night here tonight. I know y'all are going to immediately go back and go rewatch some of what happened here tonight. It was well worth it, though. Always giving you your money's worth, even if you didn't pay anything for it at all. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of The Business. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, Mr. Jason Black. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, handle your business or your business will handle you.